leadoff man. Brought to you by Elmhurst Dodge, Illinois' largest Dodge dealer because of the people.
Steve Stone down on beautiful Wrigley Field. The Cubs won a big ball game last night. Houston also won, so they didn't gain any ground on them. And the New York Mets, surprisingly, won a doubleheader coming from behind in the second game. So right now, the Cubs and Mets in a virtual tie for the wild card race. But the Cubs have bigger fish to fry. They have to worry about the ball game right here. And last night, Steve Traxel was brilliant as we take a look at the Elmhurst Dodge highlights. We'll pick it up in the first inning, a strikeout of McGuire. Scott Service throws to Grace. They get him, and DeShields trying to score is cut down at the plate. A most unusual double play. Fernando Tatis takes a ball into right field, and the Cardinals go up briefly 1-0 in the second. But Scott Service on an infield out ties it at 1. This also coming in the second inning. And then Scott Service, another infield out and another RBI. He had 3 of them overall last night. The Cubs take the lead. John Mabry coming on to pinch hit, swings at a curveball, goes down. Steve Traxel had 7 strikeouts last night. And Rod Beck comes in. He fans Mark McGuire. And after fanning Ray Langford, he saved number 37. And coming up after these messages, one of the heroes of last night, Steve Traxel.
On the weigh-ins, Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
You don't have a doorman.
What? The weigh-ins. Then on the Jamie Foxx show, it's Braxton's birthday. And Jamie got him the perfect gift.
Lolinda the blow-up doll?
Too bad it ends up at the wrong party. Jamie Foxx after the weigh-ins and before a special second weigh-ins.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Presenting the vacuum cleaner you won't believe.
I couldn't believe how much hair was picked up.
It picks up everything. It's amazing.
And you don't have to have bags.
The incredible Phantom Fury vacuum. You won't believe the power. It devours dirt.
I was absolutely amazed at the power that it had.
The secret is patented dual cyclonic action driven by a 12-amp motor and no bags. Instead, an easy-to-empty bin. You won't believe the versatility. And watch this. In a snap, the handle converts to a cleaning wand.
You see a cobweb? Zap, right now.
3 onboard attachments reach everywhere dirt is lurking. And for cleaner air, a certified HEPA filter.
I have a new toy. I love it.
The Phantom Fury.
It's incredible. That's all I can tell you. It's really incredible.
Call for a free video of the Phantom Fury in action. You have to see it to believe it. There's no obligation. Call now.
From battling robots.
Gotcha.
To destroying giant scorpions.
Toast.
For DeVry graduate Michael Watson, it's another tough day at the office. He's a senior software engineer designing interactive computer games.
My job's not all fun and games. I'd be the one getting zapped if it weren't for the things that I learned at DeVry.
For a higher degree of success, call DeVry, 1-800-423-7000.
The last time Steve Traxel looks at the Cardinals, it wasn't real pretty. And Steve, I got to believe that after that debacle in St. Louis, you came back last night with a renewed sense of purpose. You threw the ball exceptionally well. Was that St. Louis start in your mind at all when you threw the first pitch last night?
Yeah, that was some very good motivation going into yesterday's ball game. Gracie came in after the second inning. He's like, "I got it, baby. You just went twice as far as last time." So, anytime you have a game like that, you try to put it out of your mind, but until you face that team again and do well against them, it doesn't go away.
Explain a little bit why early in your career you had some trouble winning at Wrigley Field, and the last few years you've absolutely been dominant here.
I think mostly more ground balls. I was pretty much a fly ball pitcher my first year or two, and I've been able to keep the ball down in the zone and get more ground balls, and especially with the grass, obviously that's what you have to do.
Your best year coming into this year was 13-9. Right now you're 13-6, en route to the best year you've ever had in the major leagues. And for you, who's been known in the past at times as being inconsistent, this has to be a year where you say to yourself, I finally figured it out.
I think I don't know if I figured it out. I think the consistency thing was big for me. That's all I've ever wanted to be is be consistent and help the team win. And I feel like I've definitely done that most of the part this year, and hopefully I can keep doing it the rest of the year and next year.
Without chronicling last year and the problems the bullpen had, what has it meant to you and all of the other starters to have not only Rod Beck, but everybody down in that bullpen to get the ball to Rod Beck, and then he comes in and he saved 37 games this year?
Oh, you don't even think about it now. I mean, you get in a situation late in the ballgame like yesterday, you know, ninth inning. I was upset that I put the bullpen in that situation where McGuire can tie the ballgame, but I wasn't worried about it. You know, last year I was definitely going to be worried.
I know that you're on a year-to-year contract. That's usually the case before you have 6 years in the major leagues. Would it be your desire somewhere down the road to get a multi-year contract to give you a sense of security and keep you in a Cub uniform for some time?
Oh, I think that's everyone's desire, is to get that multi-year contract. You know, unfortunately, it's never been brought up with me, but you know, it's always a future. You know, if I could stay here, I love this town. You know, it's a great town. I know it very well now after being here for my 5th year, and you know, if they want to keep me here, I'd love to stay.
You weren't here in '89, the last time the Cubs went to the playoffs. You were eliminated in 1995 on the second last day of the season. This is probably the best team the Cubs have had in quite some time, and as you go down now to the point where every game is really important, is this the fun part of baseball?
Yeah, it's definitely the fun part. You know, every game means something, just like you said. You never know what's going to happen when you come to the ballpark. You know you got to play well every single day to give yourself a chance. And as long as you can give yourself a chance, especially coming in the last week of September, they're just going to get funner every day.
You've got San Francisco, Houston coming in. Any special thoughts?
We got to win them. That's all it is. I mean, it's that simple. We got to win every game and to give ourselves a chance.
Well, Steve, keep going. You're having a great year so far. And stay with us because we'll have a look at the scores from yesterday. Then we'll be back with the starting pitchers after these messages.
Hi, I'm Linda Carter, and I'm here to tell you why ordering your contact lenses direct from Lens Express is such a great idea.
We're America's largest contact lens replacement service. Call now for a free catalog and save up to 50% by ordering direct from Lens Express.
And I get the exact lenses my doctor prescribed or my money back. Now that's what I call service. I couldn't do without Lens Express.
Call this number now for a free Lens Express catalog.
Hey, put down those peas. Take a look at these. I'm Smiley, the MDA dot. Follow me to a bonanza of bargains. Connect the dots in your favorite supermarket aisles. Buy special aisles of Smiles products that save you money. And help MDA help people in your community.
Saving money and helping Jerry's kids. I love that.
Look for my smile in supermarket aisles. Connect the dots each time you shop.
I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was emotionally and physically down, out of balance. Then I found Harmonex from SunSource, a unique combination of St. John's wort for emotional well-being and Siberian ginseng for physical well-being. Keep balance in your life with Harmonex.
Arthritis, backache, sore muscles? Give pain the 1-2 punch with Icy Hot. It goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away. Fight back, give your pain the 1-2 punch and knock out pain with Icy Hot.
On the mound for St. Louis is former Cub Kent Bottenfield. He threw a very good game against the Cubs in St. Louis, so there should be a measure of payback today. And Mark Clark going to the mound for the Cubs, and with the wind blowing in, it should be to his advantage, as the Cubs try to sweep the Cardinals, doing to them what the Cardinals did to the Cubs in St. Louis. And I know it's going to be exciting. It's Sosa and McGuire. It's the Cardinals. It's a packed house. And who could ask for more? So stay tuned for baseball.
Guests on the Leadoff Man receive this handsome 13-inch color television with remote control from Zenith Electronics. Zenith, entertainment just the way you like it. And a handsome piece of jewelry from Henry K. Jewelers, 3rd Level Water Tower Place, Chicago. The Leadoff Man has been brought to you by Elmhurst Dodge, Illinois' largest Dodge dealer because of the people.
The Army means hard work.
I don't know how real Army guys do it.
The Army.
coming this fall on WGN.
Nancy? Jill! Hey, I think you dropped something.
Oh, thanks. I wouldn't want to lose this card.
What's that, your insurance card?
No, but just as important, it's my People's Prescription Plan. This will get me the lowest price at my next stop, the pharmacy.
Can anyone get it?
Sure. You just have to want the best price for your prescriptions.
Count us in. Is it expensive?
Not at all. And one membership covers everyone in your household.
Even my mom on Medicare?
That's why you should call now to join the People's Prescription Plan. Now, for just one low monthly fee, you'll get the lowest price this plan can offer. In fact, our members have already saved over $20 million on their prescription drugs. Get up to half off the cost of eyeglasses and contact lenses. You can also save on hearing aids, vitamins, even health equipment. It's easy. Just show your prescription card. And there are no claim forms, so call today.
Call 1-800-525-7800. Call now.
Ever since the Illinois Lottery announced Lotto's grab for the green promotion, we're out here every morning practicing. Today we're working on hand-eye coordination, concentration, and a good grip. Hey, Rose! Remember the grab!
What?
Pretend it's money!
Lotto's grab for the green promotion. Buy a $5 Lotto ticket and you can be one of 12 people to grab up to $50,000 in Lotto's money machine.
Oh, I got one!
You're a winner!
Doesn't your body love fruit?
Everybody loves fruit.
Hanging fruit? Chilled fruit? Cool fruit?
Everybody loves fruit.
Bodies in motion? Bodies at rest?
Everybody.
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 Everybody loves fruit.
Everybody.
The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Last night's game was a textbook example of the Cubs' challenge this season. They're chasing the wild card spot while the rest of the world chases Sosa and McGuire. Steve Traxel almost got lost in the glare, but stole the show with an outstanding performance against the Cardinals. Today, Mark Clark tries to continue his second-half success. He beat the Astros in Houston last Friday. Kent Bottenfield gets the call for the Cardinals. He knocked off the Cubs in St. Louis last week. So, friends, stay tuned for all the hits, inside and out, as the Cubs and Cardinals battle next. Another standing room only crowd on a beautiful day for baseball here at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field as the Cardinals come a-calling for the final time this year. The Chicago Cubs take them on in Game 2 of the two-game series. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Cubs Baseball. I'm Chip Carey, joined by Steve Stone. Last night, a great ball game. The Cubs won it 4-1 the final score. The matchup with the Sluggers didn't really materialize, Stoney. They went 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts.
It was like a couple of heavyweights who spent 12 rounds swinging at nothing but air, and that's exactly what happened. Although the fans came to their feet with every at-bat, you can see last night wasn't the best of nights for the two big boppers. However, today, the wind is blowing lazily across the left. It might be a different story.
And the story in the wild card race shapes up this way. The Mets, how about that ball club? All those doubleheaders, they won 2 from Colorado last night, and the Cubs deadlocked atop the wild card pile.
When we left the ballpark last night, we knew the Mets had won the first game. They were trailing in the second game, but they came back on the strength of a Mike Piazza double with the bases loaded. Now a virtual tie for first place with San Francisco 3 back and the rest of the league kind of falling back. So every game for the Cubs, a big game. And with that in mind, we've got Mark Clark going to the mound, and he threw a gem last time out against Houston, and maybe a measure of payback against Kent Bottenfield, because he threw very well against the Cubs in St. Louis.
Indeed he did. There is your pitching matchup. A roster move for the Cubs today. Gary Gaetti has been signed. He is in uniform. He will be eligible for pinch hitting duties, as he's not in the starting lineup tonight. Cubs and Cardinals, it's Game 2 of the series. Let's enjoy our national anthem.
Your caps as the United States Army Recruiting Battalion presents the colors for this afternoon's game. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and join the Bettendorf High School Choir as they honor the United States by performing our national anthem.
Freedom and justice. Freedom and justice. Liberty for all. Freedom and justice. Freedom and justice. Liberty for all. Freedom and justice with liberty for all. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we had just at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad strides and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets made waves from flame of bursting, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. The new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. The Discover Card, the card that pays you back with a cashback bonus award. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Pepsi, Generation Next. ComEd, the official electric company of the Chicago Cubs. ComEd, what do you do with your power? And by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
What is Nicorette? Nicotine replacement gum. It helps you stop smoking cigarettes, but you don't chew it like regular gum. You bite Nicorette until it tingles. Then you hold it between your cheek and your gum. And you get a lower level of nicotine to help you fight your cravings. And as your cravings get fewer and fewer, you use less and less and less Nicorette until you use none. And none is a wonderful number.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Hey, Cub fans, keep your eye on the ball. Every time a Cub player hits a homer at Wrigley, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly home run contest. After every Cub homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN-TV. We'll choose 10 winners to fly to any Southwest Airlines destination. For every Cub homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
Ask us, it just tastes better.
Okay, it's my big debut. Here we go. Wise. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Good. Wise.
Did he forget his line or what? Is this the regular one or is he the understudy? Is this? Yeah, thank you. Hey, you gotta wait for me. Let's hold it. Not you. He goes. Then I. Wait a second. Not you. Hold it. Why? Why? I can't work in this environment. Cut! Cut!
Another beautiful day for baseball here in Chicago. Temperature 70 degrees, winds blowing gently out of the east at 8 miles per hour as the Cubs and Cardinals lock up in Game 2 of the brief two-game series. As we told you a moment ago, Gary Gaetti has been signed by the Cubs. He'll wear number 15. He's been signed for the remainder of the year. And Stoney, he has always been a very productive hitter here at Wrigley Field. And the question is, as well as Jose Hernandez has played, where will you find a position and at bats for Gary Gaetti?
Well, I think you're going to see him at first base against Randy Johnson, and he'll be able to play occasional third base. If you move Jose Hernandez to shortstop, give Jeff Blauser a day off. So he's going to provide a lot of experience and a lot of home runs, 343 lifetime coming off the bench with the occasional start.
So here is the Cardinal lineup as they face the Cubs and their former mate Gary Gaetti today. Pat Kelly leads it off at second base, then Brian Jordan, Big Mac Mark McGwire. He went 0 for 4 last night, struck out 3 times. Ray Lankford went 1 for 4. He's the cleanup man. John Mabry, Fernando Tatis had a couple of hits in the game last night. Eli Marrero behind the plate. Kent Bottenfield hits 8th. And Luis Ordaz, the young shortstop, will hit 9th for Tony La Russa's Cardinals.
And the Pepsi defense for Jim Riggleman and the Cubs, Rodriguez and Johnson and Sosa left to right. Hernandez, Blauser, Morandini, and Grace in the infield. A battery of Tyler Houston. And Mark Clark looking for his 8th win, and this his 26th start. Last time out in Houston in a big ball game, Mark Clark threw the ball exceptionally well. Looking for more of the same today. The wind is blowing in at the Cub dugout. It really will push the ball down the left field line. It's not quite as brisk as last night when it really was a factor. But last night Steve Traxel was absolutely brilliant, and the Cubs hoping Mark Clark can follow it up with another gem.
Yeah, the wind blowing 15 miles an hour last night, just 8 today. Frank Pulley, the balls and strikes. Pat Connors, Bruce Dreckman, Ed Rapuano. Charlie Williams still out with an Achilles tendon problem. First pitch bunted in the air. It's going to be caught by Houston, and Kelly pops out to open up the ball game. So, Pat, we hardly get to know ye as you pop out. 4 out number 1. Mark Clark, what a game he pitched against Houston. Outdueling Shane Reynolds. Struck out 8 men, didn't walk anybody in 7 innings and 2/3, and he got the key base hit in that ball game.
Well, that will be a factor for Kent Bottenfield to consider today, the potent bat of Mark Clark.
Here's Brian Jordan, and he rips a shot deep toward left field. That's going to rattle off the ivy. Jordan on his way to second. The ball ricochets away from Henry. And on 2 pitches, the Cardinals have a double with 1 man out. That ball was really tattooed.
Mark Clark against the Cardinals in his lone appearance went 6 1/3 innings, give up 5 earned runs. This is a fastball. It's on the inner portion, and Brian Jordan puts a charge into it. So last night he was 1 for 4. He starts off taking it against the ivy and winds up at second base. And Big Mac will stand in.
McGwire hitting .285, 47 home runs, 106 runs batted in. He sends a drive deep toward left. Back goes Henry at the track. He's got room out number 2. Oh, he just missed.
Well, fortunately, the 8-mile-an-hour wind was blowing in ever so gently. Otherwise, it's 2-0 early. As Mark McGwire, the best swing in the series, just missed hitting it out of the ballpark. He goes down and tries to get it. Henry reaching for the ivy, knows he has just enough room in a step, and he makes the catch.
Nothing to it. Had it all the way. One on, 2 outs. As McGwire now 0 for 5 in the series. Well, they have hit 2 rockets against Mark Clark so far in this first inning. As Lankford the hitter. This guy having a very good year for the Cardinals. Hitting .326 since the All-Star break with 11 home runs, 42 driven in. And lifetime against Mark, 3 for 7 with a home run. But Mark quickly ahead of him, 2 strikes.
You got a couple of choices on Lankford, who is a strikeout man. You can throw high fastballs away. He usually swings through those. You don't want to keep it down in a way, however. That's a ball he can drive out to left center. And he will swing at that forkball in the dirt when you get ahead of him.
Well, let's see if that's what Mark has in mind. Here's Langford all the way back in that left-hand batter's box. Runner at second, 2 outs. It's high. Ball 1. The Cardinals head to New York. They've got doubleheaders Thursday and Friday. Then they go to Pittsburgh for 3. So Cub fans everywhere want to root for the Cardinals after today's play. The 1-2. It's high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Mets, as we told you, won their doubleheader yesterday, and the amazing thing is that's not an infrequent occurrence for them.
They've won the last 3 doubleheaders. In fact, the last time the Cubs saw them, they beat them in a doubleheader, and they won one 2 days before that against Milwaukee.
The 2-2. He's gone full now, 3-2 after jumping out 0-2. And another tough man for Clark to handle. John Mabry is waiting on deck. Scoreless game in the top of the first at Wrigley Field. Another gorgeous day for baseball, but hot weather is a-coming. We expect it in time for the weekend. And Clark steps off as Jordan has too large a lead for his liking out at second base.
Well, Jordan will take off if nobody pays attention to him. He is a very good base stealer, and he's got a huge lead out at second. He's stolen 13 bases.
Clark checks him at second. The payoff pitch. Back to the mound through the glove of Clark. Morandini can't make the play. It's into center field. And Jordan scores a gift run to put the Cardinals in front 1-0. It's ruled a base hit by Langford. He drives home his 81st run of the year.
This is a play that Mickey usually makes. He gets it by Mark Clark. Morandini up the middle. And it just takes a hop over his glove. And more times than not, Mickey will turn that into an out. This time it's a base hit, and the Cardinals go on top 1-0.
Yeah, Jordan had stopped at third. Knowing how well Morandini had played at second base, he didn't expect that ball to slither through, but it did. And the Cardinals have a 1-run lead, and John Mabry, the batter, and he takes strike 1 called.
Looks to me like Frank Pulley is going to give the outside corner today to Mark Clark. So you probably want to take advantage of that. Langford has swiped 17 bases, been caught just 3 times.
And he's got a very good lead. Leaned it towards second, but got back very easily.
Well, I would think that this would be a very good running situation. Not necessarily on this pitch. It's pretty easy to call a pitch out 0-1.
Hands on his knees. He's going. The pitch swung on, hit high in the air down the left field line. And out of play. Boy, oh boy, Langford had second base stolen if Mabry had taken that pitch. But he didn't. Cubs fans happy of that. Now Mabry's behind 2 strikes. Mark Clark got the ground ball he wanted from Langford, but Ray hit it into a perfect spot right up the middle. And the Cardinals have scored the first run of the game.
Well, the Cardinals also scored the first run last night, and it did them very little good.
Boy, that was a fun ball game last night. Everybody oohing and eyeing with every big cut that Sosa and McGuire took.
How about the shooter coming in with 2 strikeouts of none other than McGuire and Langford to end it.
The 0-2 swung on, hit a mile high in the air, deep down the right field line. Sammy over near the wall, runs out of room as Mabry pulled it foul.
And that's the wind blowing in here. Otherwise, that is on to Sheffield, but not today. See that wind blowing across toward the Cub dugout. Actually, it'll change and occasionally blow straight in, but it certainly is in the pitcher's favor. There is Rod Beck with his 37 saves and a huge one last night.
That ties the Cub record for right-handed pitchers, by the way. Bruce Sutter also saved 37 back in 1979. The all-time Cub record, of course, is 53. That by Randy Myers in 1993. Hopefully Beck can approach that talent. That would be something. 0-2. Pitch out, nothing doing. A ball, 2 strikes to Mabry. A man that's really without a position for the Cardinals. He's an outfielder by trade, but they've tried him at third base. That wasn't the answer. They got Tatis with Gant, with Langford, with Jordan, with J.D. Drew coming along. Mabry's going to be a fourth outfielder, it would appear, with St. Louis. The 1-2. Ripped through the right side and in for a safe smack into right in front of Sammy. So the Cardinals with 2 straight hits. Clark's gotten ahead of Langford and Mabry, but hasn't been able to finish either one of them off. And now Tatis, a man that had a couple of hits last night, will be the batter.
After some adventuresome base running last night, the Cardinals have shut it down somewhat. Langford couldn't take off with the crack of the bat because he would have run right into the ball. And that hesitation stopped him at second base. So you don't want to make the third out at third, especially with Fernando Tatis, who has hit the ball very well against the Cubs. And more times than not, in RBI situations, he'll take that breaking ball to right field.
Well, did you see some of the averages that the Cardinals have against the Cubs in 1998? It's unbelievable. John Mabry hitting .500 before his base hit a moment ago. He's 6 for 11 now. Tatis is 8 for 18. That's .444. Brian Jordan .424 coming in. Marrero .391. Ray Langford .353. Yet the Cubs lead the series 4-3. 2 balls, no strikes. Tatis, the former Texas Ranger. He came over in that Stottlemyre deal. On the trade deadline, the pitch swung on, looping liner left center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Langford comes around and scores, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0. 3 straight 2-out hits by the Redbirds.
You have to really like Fernando Tatis. He's gotten some big hits against the Cubs. They paid dearly for him. They gave up Stottlemyre, and they got Tatis, and they got Darren Oliver, and they also sent Royce Clayton to Texas. And Tatis paying some dividends. Gets a little slider that doesn't do much and dumps it into left field. That's RBI number 6. And the Cardinals go up 2-0.
2 runs, 4 hits, and they're not done yet as Eli Marrero, the batter. He went 0 for 3 last night. But Marrero, as we told you, a .391 hitter against the Cubs this year. He's 9 for 23. 2 on, 2 out, 2 in. And he hits the first pitch high in the air to the left side. And it's well into the seats. Another sellout crowd. Boy, we had a great crowd last night. 40,249. Paid to see the Cubs and Cardinals lock horns. And we're in the neighborhood of that number again today. Mabry at second, Tatis at first.
This is the last time we will see the Cardinals in Wrigley Field this year.
The 0-1. 0-2 inside corner strike.
This is such a great rivalry that every game is met with just a little bit of increased intensity. And it doesn't matter where the Cardinals are or where the Cubs are in any given year.
0-2 to the Cardinal catcher. And again, Clark misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Redbirds led last night, as Steve mentioned, but dropped the game 4-1. And Tony La Russa hoping that Kent Bottenfield will do what he's done in the last 8 times out. That's pitched very, very effectively. Marrero stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Cardinals pitching staff is going to be put to the test, and it's a staff that has been tested all year because of all the injuries. And with back-to-back doubleheaders in New York against a very tough Met team, after this game, the Cub fans become Cardinal fans for at least 2 doubleheaders.
1-2 to Marrero. Swung on, hit high in the air toward left. Henry stumbles, recovers his footing, and makes the grab. And that retires the side. The Cardinals score twice. They do it on 4 hits, and after a half inning, it's 2-0 St. Louis.
Now Chex has a snack time mix for your kid on the go. Chex School Fuel, a sweet new recipe on specially marked boxes. In minutes, you transform brown sugar, Chex, and chocolate into a treat that'll rev up their taste buds.
Keep the change.
New Chex School Fuel. You make it, kids love it. Also find a coupon for a free box of Gladlock sandwich or snack bags on boxes of Chex.
What do you get when you add up all Dodge Neon's horsepower, plus all of its interior room, both of which are greater than you'll find here, then subtract a hefty $1,500 cash back, hit total, and Neon is yours for under $10,500. Or instead of cash back, choose low 1.9 financing. Another way to save. And as they say, the numbers speak for themselves. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
John Lithgow performs the Discover Card Dial-Along song.
An extemporaneous piece.
Provided for your dialing pleasure while you call 1-800-IT-PAYS-2 and apply for your Discover Card, the card with the cashback bonus award that always pays you back.
That was a nice surprise.
And that's music to everyone's ears. It pays to Discover. To apply, call 1-800-IT-PAYS-2. Accepted where you see the Novus sign.
Boy, it's an Inner Harbor shirt kind of day today at the ballpark. A beautiful day, and here's a look at the Cubs. Pepsi starting lineup. Lance Johnson will lead things off, then Mickey Morandini at second base. Sammy Sosa, Mark Grace, Henry Rodriguez, then Jose Hernandez at third. Tyler Houston behind the plate, Blauser, and Mark Clark, the lower two.
The defense for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals, Mabry, Langford, and Jordan left to right. Tatis, Ordaz, Kelly, and McGuire in the infield. Eli Marrero behind the plate, and former Cub Kent Bottenfield looking for his 5th win, and this is his 14th start. He's been a very flexible man for Tony La Russa. They've used him as a closer. He's got 4 saves. This is his 41st appearance. This is his 14th start, so he's done everything for this team.
So Lance Johnson, the first man to greet him, and he looks at a good fastball for strike one. Standing room only, actually sitting room only on the railings here at Wrigley Field. Another huge crowd on hand for the Cardinals and Cubs. Lance had a couple of hits in the game last night, actually drove in a run, his 8th of the year, and carries a 5-game hit streak into today's fray with the Redbirds.
I think a little better left fielder today in Mabry, and maybe a little better defense with Ordaz and Kelly up the middle. Last night was not a great defensive effort for the Cardinals. Have had some problems in that department.
2 balls and a strike to Lance Johnson, as that average up to 210 now on the year. 1 for 3 lifetime against the Cardinal right-hander, who falls behind the speedy leadoff man. 3-1.
Bottenfield has had periodic control problems, but he's done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Just 8 home runs in 112 innings.
Crowd didn't like that strike call. Full count, 3-2.
We told you that Frank Pulley is giving the outside corner, so the hitters are going to have to go out there and get it.
Bottenfield ready, and the right-hander's 3-2 pitch foul back. And Johnson stays alive. Cardinals have a 2-0 lead. They dropped 2 runs on us on 4 hits in their first at bat against Mark Clark. Again, the 3-2. Lance swung at ball 4, but protecting that outside corner had to do it.
Well, he had to go out there because he didn't know just how far that corner for Frank Pulley extended today. So Lance does a nice job of staying alive. And there's a young man who's absolutely ecstatic. He gets an early souvenir and gets to watch McGuire and Sosa go head-to-head.
Again, the 3-2. He missed outside. Leadoff walk. And Lance really looked that ball into the glove of Marrero, and Frank Pulley said, no doubt, ball outside. So a good start here in the bottom half of our first inning.
And here's a man who's had some very good luck against Kent Bottenfield during the course of his career. Mickey hitting .417 against him.
A 5 for 12 average is that .417 percentage. And Morandini, a .315 hitter overall on the year, looks at a ball high. 1-0. Bottenfield dazzled the Cubs on August 7th. That was in St. Louis. Here, a much cozier park. Upstairs again, 2-0. You know who is waiting on deck. And he'd love a chance to. Wrap number 48 right here. The 2-0 runner goes, pitch high. The Marrero throw is a beauty. What a play it short by Ordaz to lean across the bag, grab the ball, and apply the tag.
They cut down Lance Johnson, and he's thrown out for just the second time this year. And with the pitcher struggling with his control, you don't like to see this one early in the game. That was ball 3, and Bottenfield now gets to go back into the windup, and he might be able to right the ship. That would have been 3-0 with a man at first. Didn't work out that way.
So it's 3-1 now. Bases clear, and Morandini now has a full count, 3-2. Well, in a tight game last night, it was the Cardinals that made a couple of questionable decisions that cost them in that game. Lance Johnson thrown out trying to steal here in the first, and now Gary Gaetti wearing a Cub uniform for the first time. Morandini draws the walk ahead of Sosa now. So here comes Sammy. Where have the sluggers hit the home runs?
As you can see, Sammy has hit 13 to right field. Mark only 2. Sammy 15 to center field. Mark only 9. And Mark McGwire a dead pull hitter, and Sammy will spray his home runs around.
And with the wind blowing in but toward left a little bit, see if Sammy can yank one down the line. He just missed hitting one last night. 1 ball, no strikes, and the king is here. Let's see if Sammy can get him all shook up again. The pitch. Here's a strike, 1-1. Sammy 1 behind Juan Gonzalez for the Major League RBI lead. He's got 119. That matches his career high. A ball and a strike. Marrero sets up away. The pitch fouled back, 1-2.
Gonzalez hit a solo home run last night to reclaim the Major League lead. Sammy has seen a lot of fastballs in on his hands from the Cardinals in the 2 series we've played him. I would think Bottenfield would go to a slider away right here, but they're staying in.
And it's a perfect pitch. Strike 3 called. 2 down. Sammy guessing something else is struck out looking for out number 2.
Well, that's exactly how Pet Kajzek pitched him last night. The only time he saw a right-hand pitcher, and this is just a beautiful pitch. There's just nothing you can do with it.
So tip your cap to Bottenfield. Sosa and McGwire 0 for 1 in their individual matchup, but the Cardinals lead the game 2-0. And now Mark Grace, the Cub hitter. He's got a 7-game hitting streak on the line today. Low, says Frank Pulley, 1-0.
Well, I like what Mark did last night. He hit a couple of balls into left center field. When he's starting to pick up that average, he'll take that outside pitch and hit it to left or left center, trying to take it right over the head of the shortstop. When he tries to pull that outside pitch, that's when he grounds to the right side.
That one on the outside corner evens the count. At a ball and a strike. Bottenfield sets and fires homeward, and Grace fouls it back. 1-2.
Get Henry in the on-deck circle, and what a year Henry Rodriguez has had. Once again, we send along best wishes to Jeff Pentland. Hopefully he will have a speedy recovery. He has a touch of pneumonia, and he's been watching the games on TV, watching his pupils try to impart his teachings to them.
A ball, 2 strikes. Hit high in the air toward third. Tatis will shield his eyes with the leather. He'll put it away with one hand. It almost popped out on him, but Grace pops out as well, and that retires the Cubs in the first after 2-0 Redbirds.
Flying to the New England area for business? If these 12 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines to Providence or Manchester, Maybe this will. Call 1-800-IFLY-SWA.
You are now free to move about the country.
Here we are in this simple, majestic setting. None of the usual interruptions, nobody around to distract us from introducing AT&T One Rate Plus. Now, the key point, the thing to remember, is that every call you make from home with One Rate Plus, every call, day and night, 10 cents a minute.
Did you say 10 cents a minute, dude?
How do they find me?
AT&T One Rate Plus. 10 cents a minute, anytime. Call 1-800-4-1-RATE to enroll.
This is the 98 Dodge Avenger. It offers huge 17-inch tires for stability, a rigid body structure for quiet, and a sophisticated system of valves and bushings for optimum tuning of ride and handling. We thought we'd start there, because if we started with Avenger's looks, we'd never get your attention back to bushings and valves. See your friendly Dodge dealer today and get $1,000 cash back on Avenger.
2-0 our score after one from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. The Cardinals go back to work against Mark Clark. Kent Bottenfield, the pitcher, leads off. He hits in the number 8 slot for St. Louis. And he takes a quick strike, and we'll look at today's ComEd Power Profile.
Today's ComEd Power Profile is the last time that Mark pitched against the Astros, and he was terrific. That's a very tough ball club in their home park. And Mark shut him down pretty much, and the Cubs won that one.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Father Ryan from Maryville Academy is at the ballpark today with some family and friends from Jacksonville, Illinois. Wants to say hi to his dad, Robert Ryan, watching the game today. And Clark strikes out Bottenfield for out number 1 here in the second inning. What a pitching performance by Steve Traxel yesterday.
And he said he had a little added incentive after what the Cardinals did to him in St. Louis, where they mugged him in the first inning for 9 runs on 7 hits. He lasted only a third of an inning. He said Mark Grace, after the second, went up to him and said, "Way to go, you doubled your output from last start. Nice job."
Here's Ordaz. Popped up back toward us, but out of reach. It's 0-1. Ordaz hitting just 156 on the year, and the reason he has had no luck at all against left-handed pitchers. He's 1 for 26 against lefties. Obviously hitting much better against righties. Pulls that ball to third. Nice Sunday hop for Jose. 2 down. This guy's a good third baseman.
And this took a funny hop, and Jose stays right with it. The hop comes up right around the Cubs logo, and after that it's easy.
So Pat Kelly, the hitter, he popped to the catcher trying to bunt his way on back in the opening stanza. Mark Clark gave up 2 runs with 2 men out. And that's the score in our ball game. Nothing and 1. They got Kelly from Toronto for cash considerations. Morandini will throw him out. He's 0 for 2, and Clark registers a 1-2-3 second inning. On to the bottom half we go. 2-0 St. Louis.
New evidence. All toothpastes, even regular Crest, Colgate, and Mentadent, leave plaque on your teeth every day. They can be too coarse to penetrate microscopic crevices where plaque and deep stain collect. New evidence. Arm & Hammer Dental Care, the only formula with a high level of baking soda, is better at cleaning plaque away. It dissolves so fine it penetrates crevices where deep stain builds. Teeth are clean and white every day. Arm & Hammer. Evidence. Plaque clean, white clean. Arm & Hammer.
Hey, put down those peas. Take a look at these. I'm Smiling, the MDA dot. Follow me to a bonanza of bargains. Connect the dots in your favorite supermarket aisles. buy special aisles of Smiles products that save you money and help MDA help people in your community.
Saving money and helping Jerry's kids. I love that.
Look for My Smile in supermarket aisles. Connect the dots each time you shop.
So, I read an article that says they think about it every 8 seconds.
I wouldn't doubt it. It seems like the only thing Dave ever wanted.
They have one-track minds. Must be something biological or genetic.
Men, they're all the same.
Hey. You read my mind.
Evil returns.
Goodbye, Mr. Johnny.
Nightman. Sunday night at 10:30 on WGN.
Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
You don't have a doorman.
What? The Wayans.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Henry Rodriguez leads off the Cubs second and looks at a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Henry hitting .245, 30 home runs, and 81 driven in. That ball sprayed foul out of play down the left side.
Kent Bottenfield was a pretty good pitcher for the Cubs last year in 64 appearances. Had a .386 ERA. He had a couple of saves and was very durable. But when they refused to offer him a contract, he decided to move down south a little and sign with the Cardinals.
1-1. It's high 2-1. Well, how about this? Henry Rodriguez again, 30 homers this year, 92 home runs since opening day of 1996. Bottenfield has been dazzling for the Cardinals all month long, but he's got 6 no decisions in his last 8 starts. But the Cardinals may have found somebody to help out the rotation next year, but he's had all kinds of control problems in this game. He's walked now 3 men in an inning plus.
Cubs would like to make him pay the price for this lack of control, which is kind of uncharacteristic for him. And Jose Hernandez coming off one of his best games of the year. He scored 2 and he was 4 for 4 last night.
And Henry probably telling McGuire how to hit the ball out of the ballpark, especially to left field. Mark saying, how come you caught that ball? I hit 2. That's not fair. The pitch to Jose is taken for a strike. What a ball game this guy had last night. Jose went 4 out of 4 after suffering through a very, very difficult road trip for the Cubs. He's hitting .263 with 17 home runs on the year. And that's outside to even the count. And he was one of the heroes, as was Scott Service. Scott hit 3 balls that probably, if you added them all up, didn't get back to the mound. But he got 3 RBIs. And the Cubs won it 4-1. That ball swung on, belted deep toward left. Mabry at the track, hit the wall, and she is long gone. Well, Mrs. Hernandez, whatever you're feeding Jose, spread it around a little bit. He's 5 for his last 5, and the Cubs have tied the game.
Bottenfield tried to sneak one inside on him, and Jose Hernandez turned on the fastball. His 18th home run, his 60th driven in. And just like that, it's a tie game.
So it's a 2-2 game in the second inning. And Tyler Houston the batter, and again Bottenfield falls behind 2-0. That ball swung on and hit hard and out of play.
Let's take another look at Jose Hernandez. This fastball on the inner portion, he just goes down and gets it. And for Southwest Airlines, how far does it fly? 366 happy feet.
Glenn Allen Hill getting a little FaceTime on TV today, telling Jose how to hit that fastball inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt. It's 3-2. Well, it just goes to show you, no matter what kind of stuff you have on the mound, if you fall behind, you're going to get hurt. And Bottenfield has had that happen to him here in the 2nd inning. Tyler may have swung at ball 4, but he does stay alive. 3-2. The lights are on here at the ballpark.
On a very bright sunny day, but you can never have too much light. The hitters just love to see that ball.
3-2. Ripped foul past first. Dan Radisson chickened out, didn't make a play. Just kidding, of course. That ball was hit like a bullet down past first. Two-two game in inning number 2. And a ground ball to the shortstop. Ordaz handles and throws him out at first. There's out number 1. And Cubs fans, tomorrow's Ernie Banks 1958 MVP Pin Day at Wrigley Field. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older attending the Cubs-Giants game get an Ernie Banks commemorative pin. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. And there's no rumor that you'll get 2 pins when you check in, just 1.
Well, he was
not a bad idea.
He was MVP twice. So maybe 2 pins would be in order. And there is the retired pennant.
Blauser fouls that pitch away. He's behind 0-2. Jeff with 4 homers, 24 batted in, is hitting .224 on the year. 2-2 game. And Eli Marrero at this rate is going to have more spots on him than a Dalmatian from bruises. He's getting beaten up back there by Bottenfield. The 1-2. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Second Bottenfield strikeout, and Frank Pulley's given that inside corner too.
All-time Cub leaders, you see Ernie Banks on top of Billy Williams, Ron Santo third, Ryan Sandberg and Gabby Hartnett round out the top 5.
Mark Clark, the hitter. Speaking of the coach, Ron Santo, this date 1969. Ken Holtzman no-hit Atlanta 3-0. Ron Santo hit a 3-run homer off Phil Niekro in the first inning, and that's all the Cubs needed. And Clark's bid for his 3rd hit of the year is denied on a leaping grab at second by Pat Kelly. But Jose Hernandez ties the game with his 18th homer of the year, and as we head to the 3rd, it's 2-2.
Frosted Cheerios, so good this box never closes.
32, please.
You're going to want a lot more than that. Sorry, break time. Hope no one's in a rush. Oh, whatever. Don't worry about it. We're fine. Don't worry. No rush.
Every O is frosted the whole way around for a taste you can't get enough of. Frosted Cheerios taste so good this box never closes.
Of course this is an emergency. I'm out of cereal.
In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves, and they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Look inside a new Dodge Ram conversion van, and you'll find a virtual home on wheels. But take away features like the video system, captain's chairs, and plush interior, and you'll find the remarkable new Dodge Ram van with a more powerful Magnum V8 and strong unibody construction. After all, even a home on wheels should be built on a solid foundation. And with $1,500 cash back, you can start construction right away. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
What happens when Jamie's gag gift for Braxton ends up at the wrong party? The Jamie Foxx Show tonight on the WB.
WGN TV on the web. The latest in news, weather, sports, and more. Visit Chicago's very own at WGNTV.com.
Cubs Cardinals tied at 2 after 2 innings. Jordan, McGuire, and Langford here in the third for St. Louis. Jordan doubled on the first Mark Clark pitch he saw. And he hit that ball hard but foul past Rene Latchman. For a strike. Let's pause quickly for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
No balls and a strike. Jordan lines it into left field. He's got 2 hits. A 6-game hitting streak for the St. Louis right fielder. And Jordan now 3 hits in this series. He's aboard now for Mark McGuire, who just missed hitting number 48 his first time up.
Well, Jordan had had a few problems hitting Mark Clark coming into this game, but none today. And now you have to watch Jordan close at first, even though you have McGuire up. Jordan is a good base runner and will steal a base. He's stolen 13, been caught 4 times. And they're the 2 sluggers who have been shut out in this series so far.
So Big Mac digs in, swung on, hits it high in the air on the infield. Boy, he is really struggling. It seems like, Stoney, he's swinging at everything. McGuire pops out. He's hit a ball to the wall. He's hit a ball on the infield. Let's hope he doesn't find the range in between and hits it hard someplace. 1 away.
Since the All-Star break, he has certainly been struggling, and he went up there with the idea that he was going to swing at the first fastball close, and he did a couple of different times.
You know, what about the pressure thing? Obviously, that's what everybody around baseball is paying their money to see. McGuire hit, Sosa hit. Both of those men, I think, have taken very different approaches in how they have dealt with the onslaught of attention. But you have to wonder if it's really starting to get to McGuire now, if it hasn't already. That pitch hit a mile high in the air as well. At third, Jose Hernandez has a play. It blows right to him. Now he moves to his left for 2 down.
I think the pressure is very much self-imposed. Obviously, they're going to meet with the reporters. For McGuire, it's the first trip in. Sammy will talk to them just about every day. And McGuire's been through it before, and I think for him it's kind of old hat. For Sammy, he's going through it for the first time, and so he is like a kid in a candy store who is just relishing every moment of the attention. And who's to say which approach is better? McGuire figures he's taking the approach that's going to work for him. Sammy believes that he's taking the approach that's going to work for him, and at the end we'll see if it works out for either of them. They're both having great years.
And whether they crack the record or not, the sad thing is, I would imagine for either one of those men, the perception is going to be that if they don't break the record, it's been a disappointing year for them, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Only disappointing if you don't make postseason play. If the Cubs do get in it, then Sammy will be one happy man.
John Mabry takes a strike. It's 0-1. But again, yesterday, Mark McGuire was downtown near the Cardinal Hotel having lunch. Several fans recognized him, and with a big smile on his face, he signed everybody's autograph. He was doing that before the game yesterday. For a man who I think in many ways has been unfairly maligned for being honest about his feelings, at least still giving something back to the fans by spending a few moments with them and giving them the autographs before the ball games, and that's very, very classy of Mark McGuire to do. And I, as a baseball fan, hope that both Sammy and McGuire get to 60 and beyond. I think it'd be a great story, and in no way would it demean the accomplishment whatsoever to have more than one man hit more than 61 home runs. But still, they got to hit it, and they still got to get it done before the end of the season, obviously. Another base hit up the middle for the Cardinals. Mabry's 2 out of 2. And they'll have him first and third with 2 outs. In fact, we did ask Mark McGuire about the aforementioned pressure in chasing Roger Maris.
The media is not going to stop the player from hitting home runs. The pitcher is. And that's what it comes down to. The guy on the mound, I know, he knows, Griffey knows, we see the best every night. That's why this is so hard. And if it gets done, it's very special.
And even if it doesn't get done, as we said, it's been a very special year for both of those men who are each other's most ardent supporters. And that's great to see, too. Well, here's Tatis. He singled home a Cardinal run back in the first. And Clark has now surrendered 6 St. Louis hits. Jordan singled to open the inning. McGuire and Langford popped to third. Mabry singled up the middle. And now Tatis the hitter, and he fouls it back and evens the count 1-1.
Outfield playing Tatis straight away. Fairly deep in left and right. And Lance is straight away center field.
Clark taking his time with Tatis. 1-1. Breaking ball. 1-2. Two-two game in the Cardinal third. Mark McGuire 0 for 2. Sammy Sosa will take his second swings in the next half inning. The pitch swung on, broken bat roller to third. Jose backhand stab, long throw across is in time, and that retires the Cardinals in the third. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Tie game 2-2 after 2.5.
Unlike other airlines, Southwest doesn't limit seats for frequent flyer award tickets. So if we've got a seat, it's yours. Not for keeps.
You are now free to move about the country.
Unlike other airlines, Southwest frequent flyer tickets can be easily transferred to friends and family members. Or perhaps someone else.
You are now free to move about the country.
Frankie, baby, I got some great news.
What is it, Louie?
The middle frog, he's experiencing post-electroshock muscular irregularity.
What?
He's developed a nervous tic, Frank. He can't act anymore.
It's horrible.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Budweiser wants me to replace him.
What, have they lost their minds?
All my hard work has paid off.
Your hard work?
Yeah, well, the auditions, you know, the drama classes.
Yeah, Louie, you hired a hitman.
With my own money, I might add.
Cubs fans, beware of tickets from scalpers or brokers. You may be buying lost, stolen, or counterfeit tickets that will deny you access to the park. Avoid a disappointing experience. Purchase your Cubs tickets in advance or on the day of the game at the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. Some fans think they know all there is to know about the Cubs. Then they read Vineline. Vineline, the Cubs monthly newspaper, makes a great gift for any occasion. Subscription rates start at just $19.95 and all new subscribers receive a free gift. To order, call 773-404-CUBS.
Premiering this fall, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Dylan Neal from Dawson's Creek, and Sidney Penny.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Lincecum.
2-2 after 2.5 from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field with Steve Stone, Chip Carey from the ballpark. Jose Hernandez has hit a 2-run game-tying home run against Kent Bottenfield, and now the top 3 in the Cubs order look to take the lead here. Johnson, Morandini, and Sammy Sosa. Kent Bottenfield has not had very good control to start the game. He's walked 3 men. So let's see if we can make him pay for his transgressions here today. 1 pitch. McGuire backhands that play and steps on the bag and retires Johnson for out number 1. Mickey Morandini is the batter now. Mickey walked back in the first inning. I think the Cardinals might have found themselves something in Mr. Bottenfield in the starting rotation.
Just depends on what they go out and get in the wintertime. A lot of thought about perhaps Todd Stottlemyre coming back after being traded to Texas. And we shall see how they go and try to rebuild that starting rotation, something they'll have to do if they're going to be competitive next year.
Of course, Morris and Alan Bennis and Donovan Osborne have all spent significant time on the injured list for the Cardinals this year. They lost Andy Bennis before the season even started.
break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
It had been well over a half an hour. Anxiously, I shouted, "Change, Master! Change! Hurry, hurry! Change! Change quickly!"
A quick change in less than 30 minutes? What do you think this is, GM Good Wrench Service Plus?
I'm not frightened by slow oil changes anymore. 29 minutes or less, or the next one's free. GM Good Wrench Service Plus, like Master says.
The plus means better.
Call for the select GM dealer near you.
Now you can take yourself out to the ball game and catch plenty of Cubs action on your computer. Visit the Chicago Cubs website at www.cubs.com. It's the Cubs at your fingertips. The site features live broadcasts of Cubs baseball, daily statistics and game notes, player information, online access to tickets, and more. www.cubs.com is your link to the Cubs and is accessible 24 hours a day. Visit the Cubs website today at www.cubs.com. It's the place to be if you're not at Wrigley Field.
The Roman Empire strikes back.
You have one obsession, Zena. That's me.
Battle on, Cena.
Saturday at 2 on WGN.
The Army means hard work.
I don't know how real Army guys do it.
The Army Show.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Eli Marrero leads things off for the Cardinals in the 4th. A 2-2 game. It's an inside corner strike. Well, Sammy Sosa thought he got enough. In that last at bat, he ripped the ball off the wall and may have gone into his home run dance a little bit early as he was tagged out on a 7-6 relay over at second base.
And that one woke up the bullpen for the Cubs, as that just missed down the third base line. Marrero will eventually be a consistent home run hitter, I do believe. Right now he is just learning the pitchers, but he's pretty strong.
1-2 is outside. What a great valiant comeback this man's made, coming back from cancer, and is now the everyday Cardinal catcher as they've released Tom Pagnazzi and Gary Gaetti, who signed with the Cubs today. That's fouled off Frank Pulley's foot, and Marrero stays alive. 2-2.
The other great story, Eric Davis, a comeback player of the year in the American League, hit a couple of home runs last night.
Man, oh man.
Just after having his 30-game hitting streak stopped, and the Orioles look like they don't intend to lose again the rest of the year.
The 2-2. Swung on, line foul. Well, before you count out Baltimore for a playoff spot, remember this. They play the Red Sox head-to-head, I think 6 of their last 9 or 10 ball games of the year. So that's going to be a big situation for the Orioles. They were nowhere to be found at the All-Star break, but they've come charging back since. Marrero loops that ball over Blauser's head, and that's a sign of the strength you were talking about.
Well, he took that one out away and still able to pull it, getting it over the head of Jeff Blauser. And with a pitcher in the 8th spot, now you'll find them charging hard at the corners to try to take away the sacrifice from Kent Bottenfield,
who struck out looking back in the Cardinals' second. 2-2 game. Leadoff man on here in the 4th for St. Louis.
Bottenfield does have 5 sacrifices this year, and he'll be trying to push it up the right side and keep it away from Jose Hernandez.
Grace has to hold the runner at first. Hernandez ready to go. The pitch is foul tipped into Houston's glove. 0-1.
So look down to Rene Latchman now in his familiar third base coaching spot. Now that Mark McGwire is not hitting. When Mark McGwire hits, he is way back.
No balls and a strike to Bottenfield. The bunt foul. 0-2.
I would think that somewhere in that set of signs is the bunt, because Bottenfield doesn't hit very well. So I think they're going to give him an opportunity with 2 strikes to bunt. You like to see 1 or 2 pitches. With 2 strikes, you don't mind seeing a low slider. Normally, you'll see a high fastball out of the zone at 0-2. And Jose still believes that Bottenfield is laying it down.
0-2. He shows bunt. The pitch. Got the bat back just in time. It's 1-2. Eli Marrero is at first. A 2-2 game in the Cardinal fourth. Tony La Russa, Jim Riggleman matching wits here at Wrigley Field. Clark has surrendered. 7 hits already in the game. The stretch, the pitch, the runner goes, the pitch outside. The Houston throw is not in time.
Well, I was about to tell you.
A stolen base. Now you don't need the sacrifice.
About to tell you that Marrero is one of the better running catchers around, and he had a huge lead. And as soon as Mark Grace took 1 step in, Marrero was gone. So Marrero steals his 3rd base of the year, and he is in ahead of a pretty decent throw. Throw is right on the money, but you see the hand of Marrero in before the ball got there.
So Bottenfield stands in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Clark sets. He shows bunt again. And he foul tips it off the catcher, and Bottenfield strikes out. So the 2nd strikeout for Clark. First out of the ball game. Marrero stands at 2nd. And Luis Ordaz, the shortstop, will be the batter. Big Cub fan watching the game from the Sunshine State. The mayor of Winter Park, Florida, Jeff Turner, a fine broadcaster with the Orlando Magic. Watching the game with his family down in Winter Park. Jeff, it's about 25 degrees cooler here in Chicago. A gentle breeze blowing off the lake and no humidity. I'm sure you wish you were here, and we wish you were here with us to enjoy the ball game. And Summerlin says hi. You might hear her in the background. Ball 1 inside. Jeff had a very good jump shot. Steve, you might have remembered him from his days at Vanderbilt, which is the Harvard of the Southeast.
No, I was too busy studying for all of this baseball.
1-0 the count. And Jeff's been a good friend of mine down in Florida for a while. I just hope that someday when he continues to run for the re-electoral candidacy of Winter Park as the Aces are wild, he'll name me to his board of aldermen. A ball and a strike. 1 on, 1 out. The pitch. Breaking ball hit toward 3rd and through the wicket into left field. Marrero's got good speed. They're going to green light him. Here's Henry's throw at the plate. Close play. It's in time. They got it. Oh, what a throw.
Well, I think that Tyler Houston kind of deked Marrero into thinking there was no play at the plate because he just stood there nonchalantly and Marrero didn't slide. If he did slide, he would have made it, but staying up, I don't think he ever got the plate. Here comes Marrero. Now we'll take a look at Houston. Houston just standing there like there's no play, and Marrero doesn't slide. By the time he gets the ball, he just gets it, tags him in the back, and I don't think he ever had the plate. And you see this wide turn cost him a couple of steps. He trips across the plate. It's a great play by Tyler Houston.
And
Watch
look at
it
the
again,
throw.
and what an effort on both ends.
And you're right, the great call. Tyler with a kick save with that left shin guard kept Marrero off the plate. Ordaz reaches first on the air, takes second on the throw. The game's still tied at 2, and Pat Kelly is the hitter. Wow. Boy, the crowd has been buzzing this entire series, and they buzz over that great play. 1-0. Right over the outside edge.
Well, that's when, if you're Pat Kelly, if you're in the on-deck circle, you have to act as another coach. You have to get up in line of sight of Marrero, and you have to tell him to slide because the play is going to be close. I'm not sure if Kelly did it, but quite obviously Marrero didn't slide, and it cost him the out at the plate.
Swing. 1-2. Pat Kelly, a chance to put the Cardinals in front. Clark sets the 1-2. Off the end of his bat, foul and out of play.
What set that up was a huge turn at third, and I think that Tony La Russa will be talking to Eli Marrero about cutting the bases a little bit better than he did.
One and two. Here it comes. Strike three call. And the inning is over. The high wire act of Mark Clark continues. And the Cardinals fail to score in the fourth inning.
Ask us, it just tastes better.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
So, you want to see my Discover Card statement?
I am very, very prissy.
What up or shut up?
I love to be pampered. I go have my hair done. I love to go have my nails done, have pedicures, manicures. My biggest weakness would have to be shoes. Cashback bonus award really floats my boat.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
I am definitely a shopaholic.
It pays to Discover. Accepted where you see the Nova sign.
A participating advertiser for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge.
If a Cub player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN. You could win tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
It's 2-2 heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. And Stoney, here's that wide turn by Marrero that you were talking about that may have cost the Cardinals a run.
Well, Jose misses it, and then Rene Latchman sends Marrero. And watch this turn. He doesn't push off the bag. He actually hits it with his left foot. And that puts him off stride. And then he is just faked out by Tyler Houston, who puts the leg across, knocks him off the plate, and makes a great tag. And Henry Rodriguez made a terrific throw.
So that keeps the game tied at 2. And Mark Grace, the Cub hitter, 0 for 1 on the day, looks at a fastball inside.
That one could certainly turn the game around. That was a big play for the Cubs.
Swung on, belted down the right field line, but he pulled it. Well foul. 1-1.
Well, last night Mark Grace had a couple of hits to left center field, and that usually means that the next day they're going to try to get inside on you. And Mark Grace is not a .312 lifetime hitter because he is dumb up there. He's got a real good idea what pitchers are going to do with every at bat.
And he lifts that ball over the shortstop's head toward the left center field gap. Langford cuts it off in center beautifully, and Grace a long single leading off the Cub fourth. And you like to see him spray the ball around like that.
Well, once he got the ball inside and hit it as hard as he did, he just looked away this next pitch. He got it exactly where he was looking and guided it over the head of Ordaz. Turns into a base hit. So the Cubs in business here in the fourth.
And Henry Rodriguez is the Cub batter. He walked and scored ahead of Jose's home run back in the second inning. 2-2. We're in the fourth. The only other game in progress taking place in Milwaukee, where the tough times continue for the Brewers. Cincinnati just put 6 on the board in the fourth inning. They lead Milwaukee 7-0 after 4. One ball, one strike. The Cubs have won 5 of their last 7 ball games. A win today would be number 70 on the 98 campaign. Swung on, hit high in the air toward left. Mabry back at the track, at the wall, turns around, and it sails out of here. When it left its bat, it looked like a fly ball hit deep. Then it kicked into high gear and sailed out of this place.
Wind is blowing toward the left field corner, and Henry hit it in the right spot. His 31st, he's driven in 83. The Cubs have the lead, and they've hit two two-run homers, giving them one more than St. Louis this year.
So Henry snaps an 0 for 8 slide in the best way possible, hitting a two-run homer. And some debris has gotten out of the field in right. The O. Henry bars have muddied off the right field pasture. We had one of those O. Henry bars out in the bleachers when we were out in left field. And they were pretty good. When are we going out to right field, by the way?
Maybe the playoffs.
We'll certainly be out there for that.
Well, Sammy and Henry have combined for just a banner year. 47 for Sammy, 31 for Henry.
Does that tie Alex Rodriguez and Griffey of the Mariners for home runs by a duo in Major League Baseball this year? Let me check on that. I know at one point they were neck and neck. Check the AL stats here as Jose tries to keep his 5 for 5 streak alive.
Watch it again as this curveball stays up in the zone, and Henry, who's done a lot better at staying back on off-speed pitches, just hits it hard enough so that Mabry has to look up and wave bye-bye.
The Seattle twosome has 78 home runs.
And for Southwest Airlines, it flew 359 happy feet. So Jeff Pentland at home has to feel pretty good about a resurgent second part of the year for Henry,
who historically has not been a second half kind of player.
Well, he certainly has this year, and it was a way to keep him back on the off-speed pitches that really helped him turn it around this second half.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Jose Hernandez. Nobody on or out, and the count now full 3-2. One more note. Sosa and Rodriguez with 78 homers. Griffey and A-Rod with 78 home runs.
That was Jose back in the second inning, tying the game at 2. The Cubs have now hit 158 home runs this year, 1 ahead of the Cardinals.
Swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch. Strikes out Jose Hernandez, and there's the first out here in the 4th inning.
Well, unlike the curveball to Henry, this one breaks. And it breaks straight down. From the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera, we'll take a look at strike 3. But the Cubs have the lead. And they have it by 2.
4-2 game. Tyler Houston is the Cub batter. He bounced out to the shortstop his first time up. Later on tonight, Colorado battles the Mets. Jones against Yoshi in that matchup at Shea Stadium. Then the Cardinals head to New York for doubleheaders on Thursday and Friday. Houston will be in Philadelphia tonight. Shane Reynolds against Carlton Lower. 1-1. 1-2. Dodgers in Pittsburgh tonight. Brian Bohannon against Todd Van Poppel. And Amori Telemaco takes the ball for the Diamondbacks tonight. Broken bat, bouncer towards second that Kelly will field and throw to first in time. Houston jammed badly and is retired for the second time. The bat head almost went as far as the baseball.
We've seen that a few times. Brian Jordan did that twice last night. And Tyler Houston is 0 for 2. But the Cubs, who have taken the speed out of their game to go almost entirely for power this year, have used the power today to go up 4-2.
Jeff Blauser, the batter, struck out looking his first time up. Right through there to even the count at 1-1. 4-2, the Cubs have the lead. That pitch popped up right side. McGuire gives chase. He will run out of room.
It's turned into a beautiful day here. Bright sunshine. It was overcast this morning, but the clouds have dissipated, and it's a nice day on the lake. Not too many sailboats out there, but the occasional hardy soul enjoying today.
2-2. Bottenfield struggling with his control. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swung on, hit high in the air toward left, but Mabry's going to have a play on that one. He'll shield his eyes, he'll put it away, and that retires the side. Well, on a day when the general Mark Clark is pitching, it's only fitting that we salute Henry Rodriguez. He's hit his 31st homer in the Cubs, a 2-run lead.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody.
Are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
Look inside a new Dodge Ram conversion van, and you'll find a virtual home on wheels. But take away features like the video system, captain's chairs, and plush interior, and you'll find the remarkable new Dodge Ram van with a more powerful Magnum V8 and strong unibody construction. After all, even a home on wheels should be built on a solid foundation. And with $1,500 cash back, you can start construction right away. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Ever since the Illinois Lottery announced Lotto's grab for the green promotion, we're out here every morning practicing. Today we're working on hand-eye coordination, concentration, and a good grip. Hey, Rose! Remember the grab!
What?
Pretend it's money!
Lotto's grab for the green promotion. Buy a $5 Lotto ticket and you can be one of 12 people to grab up to $50,000 in Lotto's money machine.
Oh, I got one!
You're a winner!
4-2 after 4. Jordan, McGuire, and Langford here in the St. Louis 5th. And Gary Gaetti and Jim Riggleman talking things over. We might see Gaetti in a pinch hit role later on in this ball game as Jordan 2 out of 2 takes Steve rank 1.
Riggs is probably asking him if you have a home run in your bat that I can use later on. And he has killed a ball in this ballpark.
0-1. Now 0-2. Boy, that ball looks like it's a foot outside.
Boy, that corner was absolutely amazing. Brian Jordan's going to have to stand on the plate to reach that outside corner.
Throw it there again, Mark. This guy's killing you. The pitch. Not going to get it that generously.
That was
nice idea, though.
That was almost in the on-deck circle. I'd go out there again. Make Jordan hit the ball to right.
He pulls that one into the Cub dugout. And it stays 1-2.
I guess the big question is, will they be able to sign Brian Jordan? They offered him an incentive-laden contract, and he said that nobody has signed a contract like that so far. So I think he wants to stay there. It just depends on what the offer is, and they could ill afford to lose him.
He hits that ball to right. Well, didn't he also say, hey, they didn't make Langford sign a contract with incentives?
That's exactly right, and he's using the Ray Langford contract as kind of a prototype of his, not necessarily the same numbers, but he's an awfully good player if he goes on the market.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Low. 2-2.
There's a lot of people think that he might be a better center fielder than either corner, and a center fielder that can put up the kind of offensive numbers he can is certainly pretty valuable.
Clark finally solves him, took something off, and Jordan swings and misses. Clark has struck out 4 men now, and the base is empty for Mark McGuire.
After a steady diet of fastballs, he goes to the split finger, and this one dives out of sight. The Southwest Airlines Plainview camera take a look at the best pitch in the sequence, and he retires Jordan. And now Big Mac, who has been swinging early in the count and under everything, will have another chance.
Ball 1 to Big Mac. McGuire. And Sosa square off again. McGuire 0 for 2. His first at bat sent Henry to the wall, but didn't get quite enough for home run number 48. He's ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. That's off his thumbs and out of play.
That's a nice place to stay on Mark McGuire. You can keep it inside if you can keep it up. If he doesn't swing at it, it's a ball. If he does, he'll jam himself.
Boy, the Cubs have done a great job against this guy. He's 4 for 25 on the year, but of those hits, 3 of them home runs. And he's got him reaching again, 2-2.
Well, last night, Rod Beck threw him a forkball and struck him out. And if Mark can throw the same forkball that he threw to Brian Jordan, we'll have a similar result.
Well, I still remember that home run he hit in April here. In the fog, the pitch. I mean, he hit a rocket, a frozen rope, a bullet. To straightaway left field. Jose Hernandez was playing out there, and he put his arms up as if to say, I have no idea where the ball's going. Payoff is low, and McGuire walks for the 131st time here in 1998.
And the fans boo, but Mark Clark tried to get him out. He didn't pitch around him. He gave him a couple pitches to hit, and in the end, he put him on first. And that is one of the records he might break this year, and that is the all-time walk record held by the Babe.
170 walks in 1923. You'll see it in our Hoover Who's Cleaning Up in Baseball. It's what Big Mac's done.
McGuire and Bonds and Ricky Henderson, the only leadoff hitter in the bunch.
So the duties fall to Langford to try to drive home the runs now, as Clark keeps on nibbling on the outer edge and keeps getting the benefit of the Pulley call. Strike 1 call. That obviously is going to be what derails either McGuire or Sosa or both of them in trying to hit 60 or more home runs this year, is the walk total. And McGuire's walked 131 times. Sammy had walked 57 times. Neither man walked in yesterday's ball game. No balls, 2 strikes to Langford. 1-2.
Langford has the strength to hit it out in any field. And his hitting instructor, Dave Parker, said that he's at his best when he hits it to left center. So we'll take a look in. There's the fastball inside. Keep it up.
That misses. 2-2. Did you see what Tyler did there? He shifted outside, then crept back in just in case Langford was taking a peek back.
Those crafty catchers. We'll take a look at Tyler Houston again as he looks over in the dugout. That looks like a fastball away.
That's what he wants. That's what he gets, but too far outside. 3-2 now for Langford.
And one thing you can pretty much be assured of, and that is that McGuire will not be going. So you might get to strike him out. You won't get to throw him out.
He is going. 3-2. Swung on line to the gap into right center field. McGuire around second. He's on his way to third. Sosa up cleanly, fires towards second. The ball skips away, but not far enough for further advance. It's a double for Langford. Second and third. 1 out for Mabry, who has a perfect day hitting going so far today.
Well, a surprise party, because McGuire, who never runs, didn't have a stolen base attempt all year, is running, and he makes it to third. And we'll watch the jump. Langford with good speed, beating the play at second base. Mark Grace does a nice job. He has no responsibilities on this play except to get in the middle of the diamond, because Mark Clark should be backing up third, and Mark Grace was able to cut off the errant throw.
So here's Mabry, a chance to tie the game. Swing and a foul ball out of play. Mabry 2 out of 2 with a couple of singles in the ballgame. Clark's been ahead of him every time he's faced him. but hasn't been able to solve this very talented left-hand hitter, John Mabry.
Well, they have a literal plethora of outfielders on this team. If you figure that Gant and Mabry, and then you've got J.D. Drew coming up, and a lot of people figure he's going to be here September 1st. So they have a lot of options, a lot of talented players, but if they're going to make a serious run at it, and I know they have every intention of doing that next year, they've got to get that starting rotation solidified. They expect Brantley to come back at 100% next season.
1-1. A little roller to the left side. Jose's coming home, and they're going to have McGuire very, very easily. Well, McGuire doesn't run well at all. And he could have laid the leather on Tyler Houston, but he pulled up and is tagged out at the plate.
We have seen these Cardinals get themselves taken out of inning after inning in this series. There is no way in the world that McGuire is going to beat this play. So he makes the concession speech at the plate, and Langford does not advance. And Langford should have been running for the simple reason that you're going to get one of them. If you get McGuire, Langford should be at third. If you're not going to get McGuire, you get the run. So either way, you got to move up a base.
So again, some questionable Cardinal base running may cost them a chance to score again here, but it's up to Tatis. He has an RBI single in the game. Mark Clark again with base runners in every inning but one today, leads the game 4-2. And tries to win for the 8th time in 19 decisions. He gave up 4 runs in 7 2/3 against Houston. He's given up a couple of runs in the first inning today, but since has wiggled off the hook. On the outer edge. Man, oh man. Keep throwing it there, and you'll throw a no-hitter the rest of the way. 1-2.
Well, if I'm Lance, I move back a couple of steps because you can live with a single. Take a look at this one. Wow.
Man, my partner's loosening up the right arm right now to get back at him. With this strike zone, the pitch. A high chop towards second. Easy hop for Morandini. The throw to first in plenty of time, and the Cardinals have run themselves out of another inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left, halfway home. 4-2 Cubs.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Dude, get down. It's my chair. Let's go. I'm not playing games.
Okay, here we go again.
Oh, dude.
Got him right where he wants it. Just a bit outside.
Hey, those dog obedience classes really paid off.
Insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Nothing comes easy when you follow your heart.
This is fate. This is a challenge.
Felicity.
Coming this fall on WGN.
She will follow her heart to wherever it leads. Felicity.
Coming this fall on WGN.
It's a 4-2 game, halfway home here at the friendly confines. Cubs 4, Cardinals 2. Hi again, everybody. Chip Carey along with Steve Stone. Mark Clark gave up 2 in the first inning. The matchup of McGuire and Sosa, nothing going on there, but the Cubs keep on playing a little baseball, and they're beating the Cardinals 4-2.
And so far, the Cubs are out executing the Cardinals.
As Mark Clark's going to fly out to left, 1 away here in the 5th.
I thought that's what those guys were waiting for across the street, because Mark Clark, with a resurgent bat now, has hit the ball very hard. Cubs playing good, solid baseball, and they figure the 7 games in this homestand were critical for them. They're trying to take the first 2 from the Cardinals, and San Francisco comes to town.
Yes, indeed. These are very important ball games. Again, the Mets and the Cubs tied in the wild card race. But, hey, the way Mark Clark's pitching today, yes, he's been in trouble a lot, but he's done the job keeping the Cardinals away from the Pentagon at the plate. So Lance Johnson bats with 1 man down.
Cardinals have had a couple of men thrown out at home, and that always helps. And this has not been their best base running series.
Well, remember when they were here last time? All those
indeed.
overslides of second base?
Yes, sir.
So they have had their problems on the base paths here. 2 balls and a strike to Lance Johnson, who's walked, was thrown out trying to steal, and bounced out to first unassisted in the 3rd inning.
Tony Colosimo from WGN Sports Sales joining us in the booth. Always a pleasure to see him.
The count 2-2.
And
there's Tony.
By the lovely and talented Kathy Kerr.
That ball ripped into the right field corner. Troubled if it stays fair, and it just bounces foul.
And there's not much room down there, so Lance missed by a couple of feet of a double. And that's how much room you have if you take it down the line.
So Lance will stand back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mickey Morandini waiting on deck. Sammy Sosa lurking in the hole for the Cubs here. 4-2 game.
The Cubs looking for some insurance against a lineup that can produce some runs.
Good swing, but a foul back. Well, and you see what these guys have done against Cub pitching this year. A 2-run lead does not give you a whole great amount of confidence. Not to diminish what Mark Clark or the Cubs pitchers have done, but their hitters are very, very talented. 2-2. Off the end of his bat, and he stays alive again.
The Cardinals came into this one hitting .259, but they had hit 1 more home run than the Cubs over the course of the season. However, the Cubs have out-homered them today. Consequently, they lead on the scoreboard, and a huge crowd once again.
3 balls, 2 strikes, and through the wicket of Eli Marrero. The count is full. As Steve mentioned a moment ago, the Giants will be in town tomorrow. It's Kevin Tapani against Ortiz for San Francisco. Kerry Wood will pitch Friday against Oral Hershiser. 3-2 to Johnson. He fought that ball off. Saturday's matchup will be Randy Johnson of the Houston Astros against Don Wengert of the Cubs. That'll be a nationally televised game. And then we'll have Sunday's and Monday's game here on GN. Then it's on the road to Cincinnati and to Colorado. 3-2 to Johnson, who's working a good at bat here. He slaps that ball into center field, but right at Ray Langford.
I have a feeling we're going to see Gary Gaetti starting at first base in that matchup against Randy Johnson, as Jim Riggleman will try to get the right-handers in that lineup. Glenn Allen Hill will certainly play. And there's a look at Riggs, who's done a fine job this year.
So Mickey the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Mickey carries a brief 2-game hit streak into today's play. He's 2 for 8 during that span. 2 for 9 counting today's at-bat. And there is Gary Gaetti.
Looks much better in a Cub uniform than he did in a Cardinal uniform.
Yes,
of course,
Bob.
Andy McPhail remembers how good he looked in a Twin uniform when he was helping them win it all in 1987.
Line drive to left is going to drop for Morandini. 3-game hitting streak for him. Well, that brings to mind, Stoney, the great line by Bob Uecker in Major League. He said, it's funny how a change in uniform changes your perception of a guy. That really is true.
There is no doubt about that. And Andy McPhail, who was the general manager then of Minnesota, had some good veteran players when he took over, and they helped lead the way, and Gary Gaetti was one of them. He is a big game player, and the Cubs will have some big games going down the stretch. So Sammy gets that huge hand, and let's see if he can take one out. He missed by about 3 feet, hitting the top of the wall last time in the 3rd inning.
So Sosa the batter. He's 1 for 2, and he sends a rocket deep toward left. Back goes Mabry at the track, at the wall. He's got it, number 48.
That also gives him the major league lead in runs batted in, the major league lead in home runs. And Sammy, who just missed in the third, puts the Cubs on top by 4 with his 48th. The fans going crazy here in Chicago.
The cheer for the curtain call. 48 home runs for Sosa. He leads baseball in homers. He leads baseball in RBIs now. And more importantly, the Cubs lead in the game 6-2.
Every run courtesy of the home run today. 3 two-run bombs.
One by Jose Hernandez, one by Henry, and one a moment ago from Sammy Sosa. Wow. We're in the 5th.
Well,
and Grace fouls it back.
Yesterday, 200 media passes. It seemed like at least 100 cameras down on the field. And 80,000 fans combined between the 2 days to come out to see just one thing. And that was Sammy hit the ball out of the ballpark. And he obliged them today by doing it.
Grace sends a drive toward right. But the wind will knock it down. Jordan will put it in his back pocket. And the Cubs are retired in the 5th. The 2-run homer by Sosa gives him the major league lead with 48 on the year.
Flying to the New England area for business? If these 12 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines to Providence or Manchester, maybe this will. Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA.
You are now free to move about the country.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. And in the morning when I rise, you bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Wise.
Oh boy.
Wise. Wise.
Louie,
What?
just say the line.
That's what I'm doing.
No, you're not. You're going wise.
These are my interpretations of the part.
This isn't Shakespeare. You're replacing a stressed-out frog.
Hey, Frankie, you know what they say?
What?
There are no small parts, only small lizards.
Nobody says that.
I do. I say it all the time. Wise. Wise?
This copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private and non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is strictly prohibited.
He's going to have at least another chance to hit number 49 today. He just hit number 48 and takes over the major league lead.
That was a towering shot, and it was debatable if it would get out, but it did with some room to spare. And Marrero goes down, and I would expect we would see a pinch hitter for Bottenfield, who's been rocked for 6.
Including 3 two-run homers by the Cubs. Well, Jay Blunk from the Cubs marketing department wants you to know about Country Music Night, September 1st, when the Reds are in town. He says we're fortunate to secure country music superstar Martina McBride for a live performance, as well as other activities for the evening. 1998 Country Music Award nominee Martina McBride will perform songs off her platinum album Evolution before the game. Fans are encouraged to arrive before 6 o'clock. Whisper and Bill Anderson, select members of the Grand Ole Opry, will sing the national anthem.
And you'll have to listen closely for Whisper and Bill.
We would appreciate it if everyone's very quiet during that rendition. And we'll have autographed tour jackets from Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, along with an autographed guitar from Diamond Rio, and CDs from country music great Leanne Rimes and more, all awarded between innings here at the ballpark for Country Music Night, September 1st against the Cincinnati Reds.
Ron Gant will come on to pinch hit. I'm looking forward to Country Music Night. You're kind of a rhinestone cow pie yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, thanks, pal. With those boots, you could safely step on me. Not a problem. 1 ball and a strike to Ron Gant. Gant drew the ire of the Cardinals, I guess, about a week or so ago. He had all kinds of problems with his right knee last year. Finally had it surgically taken care of. Now has been complaining about his left knee bothering him the way the right knee did. Tony La Russa said, well, that's kind of news to me. And Gant lines the ball down the left field line. That's trouble if it's fair, but it's not. And out of play. So Gant, who was a big stolen base threat when he played with the Atlanta Braves, stole 125 bases with the Braves in a 4-year period.
When you have one knee worked on, Chip, it's not unusual to have some problems with the other knee, unless when you come back to rehab, you rehab both of them. Because quite obviously you're going to favor the good knee if you have one bad one. And Gant has had a lot of leg problems over the course of his career.
But to tell you how badly his game has been changed, he's stolen only 32 bases in 3 years with the Cardinals. And this is a man that was a 30-30 threat with the Atlanta Braves as a younger player. 6-2 is our score at the ballpark. Let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
With Steve Stone, Steve Rhinestone, I guess I should say, Chip Caray at Wrigley Field. Gant lines that ball to left field for a pinch hit single. Whether his knees hurt or not, this guy is cut like Adonis. He's got a muscled, chiseled physique, and he is very, very strong. So he's aboard with 1 man out, and Ordaz, the shortstop, will be the batter. Clark has scattered 9 Cardinal hits. We're in the St. Louis 6th.
Clark has had a lot of trouble in just about every inning, but he's been able to dance his way out of it.
A high pop. Who wants this one? It'll be Mark Grace at first. 2 down.
And for the first time today, the bullpen up and going. Looks like Terry Adams.
There's Terry. Hopefully he can rebound from a tough couple of weeks. Cubs have a 4-run lead. And here's Pat Kelly. Kelly 0 for 3. And has yet to get the ball out of the infield. You like this guy? You like this kid as a player?
I thought he had a very good series against us in St. Louis. I like his defense. I like the fact that he will try to bunt on occasion. Obviously, Delano DeShields is a better offensive player. Kelly might have the nod defensively.
0-1. There's that bunch you're talking about. Clark will barehand. Off balance throw is wide of first, and a great play by Grace to save the throwing error.
Well, at least once a game he's going to try it. He popped it up the first time, but that time with Jose back. It's a pretty good play. You're 4 runs down. You know that if you keep the inning alive, you going into Jordan and McGuire. So with 2 outs, Mark Clark will have a tough assignment against a man that he's had problems with, Brian Jordan. A very good play by Pat Kelly.
So Jordan 2 out of 3 with a single, a double, The only blemish, a strikeout, his last time up.
Felix Heredia getting loosened up for Ray Langford in the 4 spot, but let's hope it doesn't get that far.
Fastball, strike, 0-1. Jordan, a career .303 hitter after the All-Star break. I'll be glad when we don't have to see this guy until next year. He is a very, very tough customer for the Cubs to handle. A high chop up the middle. Morandini behind the bag. Flips to second. Not in time. Everybody's safe.
And now you got to face Big Mac with the sacks juiced, representing the tying run. Good hustle by Kelly, and the only play really for Morandini was to try to get the force. Watch it again. It's very close at second, but as you can see, Bruce Dreckman called him safe. Pretty good call. Here comes Jim Riggleman, and he wants to talk with Mark Clark, who has given up 11 hits. We're not through the 6th, and he wants Terry Adams against Big Mac.
So Mark Clark departs after 5 innings and 2/3. He surrenders 11 Cardinal hits, but he leaves with the lead. Adams comes in with the bases loaded to face Big Mac. We'll see how this matchup fares right after this.
On the weigh-ins, Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
You don't have a doorman.
What? The weigh-ins. Then on the Jamie Foxx show, it's Braxton's birthday. And Jamie got him the perfect gift.
Lolinda the blow-up doll?
Too bad it ends up at the wrong party. Jamie Foxx after the weigh-ins and before a special second weigh-ins.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Dennis Sweeney is coming home.
Seems like my little brother's just got magic dripping from his fingertips.
But everything has changed.
There's not much left of this place.
Sometimes the hardest part of growing up
You're the son in Sweeney and Son, not me.
Because I stayed and worked.
is coming home.
Now I'm back.
Mark Paul Gosselaar in Hyperion Bay.
Coming this fall on WGN.
So Big Mac a chance to tie the game for the Cardinals. They've loaded the bases, 2 outs, and a struggling Terry Adams a chance for redemption here in the St. Louis 6.
7-7 record, a .390 ERA on for the 56th time. And you got to figure that Jim Riggleman thinks that Terry Adams with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball can throw it by McGuire upstairs. McGuire has faced him once. He's 1 for 1 against him lifetime. And there is no place to put him. So Terry is on for just one man because regardless of the resolution of the McGuire at bat, it's going to be Heredia against Langford. And let's hope Terry can just heat him upstairs and get out of this inning, preserving it for Mark Clark.
Adams in his last 14 appearances, 16 hits, 7 walks, and an ERA a shade under 7. So McGuire bats with the bases loaded for the Cardinals, and the first pitch is outside and high, 1-0. The man on deck has tremendous power too. McGuire 0 for 2 with a walk, and the Cardinal fans here praying for McGuire to do something. 1-1.
"11 grand slams for Mark McGuire.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swung and fouled back. Good fastball. 1-2.
Well, I think he told Terry Adams when he gave him the ball, just go out there, let it go, throw the fastball as hard as you can, try to keep it up, and you can throw it by McGuire upstairs.
One and 2 to Big Mac. Adams sets. Here she comes. Off Houston's glove. That's going to score a Cardinal run.
That's a pass ball. That was not a wild pitch. That one should have been handled. He was trying to heat him up upstairs. It's now a 6-3 game. And watch it again. Tyler just misses it.
So charge that run to Mark Clark, the third he's given up today. The runners advance to second and third. The Cub lead cut to 6-3. And McGuire facing a 2-2 count, now first base open. Adams ready. The pitch is high. 3-2. It's almost like he's trying to throw the last two pitches right through the catcher instead of right to him. Three balls, two strikes. The pitch. Inside, he lost him. Ball four. Bases again loaded.
And that's going to be it for Terry Adams.
So Adams fails to get the man assigned to him. He walks McGuire. Now the Cubs have to go to the left-hander Heredia to try to retire Ray Lankford. Third pitcher of the inning for the Cubs. 6-3 our score in the St. Louis sixth.
The height of passion, the depths of evil.
You have no idea what it's like to have done the things I've done.
Buffy and Angel's haunting romance couldn't last forever.
Vampire in love with a slayer. It's rather poetic.
This summer, see how it all began on special Monday episodes.
You come near us and I'll kill you.
Buffy, the first episodes on the WB.
Tonight at 8 on WGN.
Coming this fall.
Sweetie, you smell something funny?
Check your feet.
When you're in love, life's a permanent honeymoon.
Until the City League playoffs are over, you stay out of the strike zone.
And together,
Hey, now!
you can get through anything.
Wait till Mel finds out all those meals I cooked were takeout.
Well, almost anything.
It's when they find out what they thought was PMS is your real personality.
For your love.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Cardinals continue to bat here in the sixth inning. It's lefty against lefty here. Lankford against Felix Heredia.
Heredia on for the 49th time, a 5.13 ERA and 0-3 record. This is combined with the Marlins and the Cubs. And he faces a very dangerous Ray Lankford, who is 1 for 3 against him a lifetime. And Heredia is a specialist. He deals very well with left-handers. For the Cubs, he's been a whole lot better than he was for the Marlins. This is his 10th appearance, an ERA of 2.84. And no margin for error here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And Lankford has been awfully tough in these situations.
He has 5 slams, as you see. And now Lankford, 1 for 4 lifetime against Heredia, stands in. He's already got a couple of hits in the game. Swung on, first pitch, rocketed foul out of play, 0-1. Heredia, 9 appearances on the year with the Cubs, a 284 earned run average. Just 2 runs in 6 innings and a third. Swung on, ground ball to second. Mickey's got it. He cradles it. He throws to first in time, and Heredia gets the job done. 1 run, 3 hits. The Cardinals leave them loaded. It's a 6-3 ball game.
The 24-ounce bottle from Pepsi. It's perfect for a lot of little thirsts. Or one great big thirst.
Uh-oh, not again.
Hey, Shaq, thanks a lot.
Sorry. The 24-ounce 6-pack, only from Pepsi.
A little help, please? Somebody?
Batteries are put to the test. America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
A participating advertiser for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is the Discover Card. Discover Card, the card that pays you back with a cashback bonus award.
Welcome back.
that same old place that you laughed about. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Here where we need ya. Here where we need ya. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
WGN TV on the web. The latest in news, weather, sports, and more. Visit Chicago's very own at WGNTV.com.
The Cardinals settle for 1 run in the 6th. It's a 6-3 ball game. And a new Cardinal pitcher, John Frascatore, I believe, takes the mound for St. Louis in relief of Kent Bottenfield.
Frascatore at 2-3, ERA 4.15, on for the 57th time. And control at times has been a problem, and the first man he's going to look at is the author of one of those 2-run homers, Henry Rodriguez.
His 2-run poke came in the 4th, and he swings at the first Frascatore offering in skies to left, where Mabry holds 4th. 1 pitch, 1 man out.
Bullpen up and going again. Felix Heredia did his job, retiring a very tough Ray Langford with the bases loaded, and now Matt Karshner throwing in the pen.
And as he does, we'll remind you that our senior producer director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Today's game produced by John Walgren. Our associate producer is Mark Brady. The coordinating producer is Kim Fields. Our executive producer of WGN Sports is Bob Vorwald. Our thanks as always to the lovely and talented Kathy Kerr for her help. She's our booth AD today and every day at Wrigley Field. Jose Hernandez, another 2-run homer for the Cubs today, his 18th of the year. He's had 5 hits and 6 tries in this brief series. Went 4 for 4 last night.
Terry Mulholland walking slowly down to the bullpen, and once again we send along best wishes to a speedy recovery to his father, Terry Mulholland, convalescing in a hospital in Pennsylvania.
A high chop to short. Polanco couldn't handle it. Played the in-between hop, and that cost him.
Well, you have to come in and smother that ball. When you wait back, you've got a problem, and that's going to go as an E6. And Ordaz cannot make the play, and we have seen a very spotty Cardinal defense. If you come in on the short hop, you've got a chance. But he tried to backhand it right in front of him, and it cost him the air. So Jose aboard.
And he's aboard for Tyler Houston, who is 0 for 2 today. He's grounded to short, and he's bounced to second. Cubs 6, Cardinals 3 in the home half of inning number 6. Steve Psycho Lyons, former White Sox, former Red Sox, former Cub, will be our guest conductor of the 7th inning stretch. 1-0 the count to Tyler.
Formerly lived in my building when he made his home in Chicago, and he's a very nice young man.
And he and his lovely wife Krista expecting their first baby any minute now. She's probably watching the game out in Los Angeles today. There's a drive hit deep toward right. Jordan back in the well has room.
That's just the wrong direction today. The wind is blowing straight in from right field. Tyler Houston thought he had every bit of it, and he might have had he hit it right at the 368 mark, but there was a lot of room in that well area. The wind knocked it down, and Tyler comes up empty. He hit that ball right on the nose.
Here's Blauser. Jeff 0 for 2. Runner at first in the 6th. The pitch is high. 1-0. Wow, it's like a Fox TV extravaganza here today. You've got Steve Lyons, my partner for the studio show here. You've got Joe Buck working the game for the Cardinals radio network here today. There's Joe with his Happy Meal. He's a young guy, but I didn't think he was that young. 1 ball, no strikes. Check swing. He went around 1-1.
Pretty good slider right there from Frascatore, who's got good stuff. He had a terrific year last year for the Cardinals. 59 appearances, a 2.48 ERA. But this year already he has got 57 appearances, so you can tell he's been a lot busier as the starting rotation, in somewhat disarray, has forced a lot of strain on that bullpen.
Well, how about Frascatore now? 10 innings against the Cubs, no runs, and only 5 hits allowed. He has been very, very tough for us to handle.
Frank Bully would like to get a couple more baseballs, I think. But he'll wait at least one more pitch.
1-1. A blooper towards second that's going to be caught by Kelly. And that retires the side. No runs or hits. 1 error, 1 man left. On to the 7th we go. The Cub lead still 6-3.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Pepsi. Generation Next.
How you doing, Sarge? Okay, folks, what'll it be? What would you like, sweetheart?
A Pepsi, please.
Sorry, we only have Coke. Now you've done it.
You're sorry? Not half as sorry as you're gonna be. I ordered a Pepsi, pal.
She's got a mind of her own.
What's with this guy?
Look, I just thought...
You thought? What you really thought was that I don't know the difference between Pepsi and a Coke, right?
Here's your Pepsi.
Thank you.
Kids say the darndest things.
What are you looking at?
I like this place.
Are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Premiering this fall, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Dylan Neal from Dawson's Creek, and Sidney Penny.
Coming this fall on WGN.
On today's Discover Card Playback, April 30th of this year, Mark McGwire hit his first homer at Wrigley Field, his 11th of the year in heavy fog against Mark Pachota, but the Cubs beat the Redbirds by a final score of 8-3. Mark McGwire's laser beam, our Discover Card Playback. Only the Cubs hitting laser beams in this ball game as Mabry tries to bunt his way on. Heredia bobbles, throws to first, close play, but not in time.
That one took a funny hop on Felix. And it goes as an error, and I think that now Jim Riggleman will bring in Matt Karshner against the right-handers and probably going to flip-flop his batting order. He'll go to the defense in left field, I would assume. We'll have to take a look. I think Karshner is coming in. And we'll see who else is coming in. Maybe it's going to be Scott Service.
So we'll see what happens on the double switch. Indeed, it is Tyler Houston heading over to the Cub dugout. So Service and Karchner will come in. The leadoff man on for the Cardinals here in the 7th inning as the curse of the top half continues here at Wrigley Field. 6-3 our score. We'll tell you about Matt Karchner right after this.
It just tastes better.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette. The first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Now you can take yourself out to the ball game and catch plenty of Cubs action on your computer. Visit the Chicago Cubs website at www.cubs.com. It's the Cubs at your fingertips. The site features live broadcasts of Cubs baseball, daily statistics and game notes, player information, online access to tickets, and more. www.cubs.com is your link to the Cubs and is accessible 24 hours a day. Visit the Cubs website today at www.cubs.com. It's the place to be if you're not at Wrigley Field.
Double switch for the Cubs. Scott Service stays in the game. He'll bat ninth in the Cub order. Right-hander Matt Karchner takes over for the Cubs on the mound. First pitch swinging is Tatis. He sends a drive hit high in the air toward left. Henry has room.
That one given a long ride, but not quite far enough.
So Tatis flies to the well in left for out number one. And before Marrero bats, we'll remind Cubs fans this Saturday, Gatorade Lunch Bag Day at the ballpark. The first 10,000 kids 13 and under attending the Cubs-Astros game get a lunch bag compliments of Gatorade. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. There are tickets available. Not many, says Frank Maloney, but you want to call early to get your tickets for these ball games coming up. Eli Marrero takes ball one from Karchner.
Matt Karchner has been pretty good for the Cubs. A 2.84 ERA. This is his 10th appearance. And Terry Mulholland loosening up in the pen in case Tony La Russa thinking about a left-hand pinch hitter down the line.
Swing and a miss. Blew it by him. 1-1. Karchner doesn't throw a changeup per se. He throws that Fosh pitch. That goofy kind of slider changeup type thing.
Is that a technical term?
I sure hope so. I hope I didn't violate any FCC rules by saying that thing on the air. 2 balls and a strike.
He's got a good fastball and a pretty good slider.
And you just can't bring yourself to say Fosh.
Well, that is the dead fish kind of approach that was created a few years back. Kind of like a changeup.
That might have been it there. He went around 2-2. The 2-2. Here it comes. Low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. From the game for Willie McGee.
No, Delino DeShields.
Oh, it's DeShields. Frascatore an inning across. All zeros. And DeShields will pinch it for St. Louis.
And he's a pretty decent bunter also, so you have to bear that in mind. And Jose Hernandez comes creeping in at third.
2 outs, runner at first. The pitch cut on, fouled back, and out of play. Six to 3 in favor of the Cubs. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. The runner goes. The pitch swung on and missed. Service's throw. Short hops the bag. And Blauser comes down on top of Eli Marrero, but he's all right. And it's a stolen base for the Cardinal catcher, his 2nd of the day.
Marrero gets a very good jump. And it's not a particularly good throw. So Marrero now with 4 stolen bases.
Nothing and 2. A base hit could mean a Cardinal run. The pitch misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Henry playing fairly shallow in left field. He already has 1 assist, and it was a big one.
The 1-2 is in the dirt. And the count moves even now, 2-2. to Delino DeShields. Cubs bidding for win number 70 on the year. Last year, the Cubs didn't win 70 games. 68-94 the final tally. The 2-2 swung on, hit high in the air, deep toward right. Sammy on his horse, at the track, at the wall, at the well, and out of here. A pinch hit, 2-run homer for Delino DeShields. And just like that, the Cardinals are within striking distance.
Well, Tatis came close to left field, and Delino DeShields took it all the way out of the ballpark. And it cuts the lead to 1. That's the 5th home run of the year for DeShields. RBIs number 32 and 33. And he got every bit of this into the wind as Sammy drifts back, hoping that it would drift into the well. No such luck. And it's a 6-5 game.
Boy, if he hits that ball 3 feet more to the right, it's a fly out. But instead, the ball did fly out into the basket. And the Cardinals now down just a run. And now Ordaz, the hitter. And he swings and pops it foul out of play. Ordaz 0 for 3 on the year, or on the ball game, I should say. His average 156 coming into today's play.
That's the 9th pinch homer this year for the Cardinals.
0-2.
And that is a pretty impressive total.
And don't forget, mighty Mark McGwire has another swing left in the game for St. Louis. Sammy Sosa, another one as well coming for the Cubs, and that's a rocket right back up the middle. So Ordaz has a hit. The Cardinals have 12 of them now.
Right back through the middle. For the first time today, Ordaz has a hit. This is a hanging slider up in his eyes. And he deposits it into center field. So the air by Heredia opened the door. And now the Cardinals have stormed through for a couple.
Tying run aboard in the 7th. And Kelly, the hitter, he bunted safely in the 6th. The pitch is a strike. Well, the commander, Pete Toma, back from his Vegas vacation. Cubs had a big lead until he showed up.
A lot of people can't vacation as much as he can, but he can do it with the best of them.
The 0-1 swung on, popped out of play, while the guys that do all the work, Mark Brady and John Walgren, and of course Arnie Harris, they're in the trenches sweating it out day by day. Pete comes in, works a couple games, takes a week off, works another couple games, takes 2 weeks off.
And this is a huge out for the Cubs, because if you can get Kelly out, you don't have to face Jordan, who is awfully dangerous.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out, and the inning is over. But 2 runs score for the Cardinals, and at the 7th inning stretch, it's 6-5, and welcome Steve Lyons.
Joining the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, led by former Major Leaguer and Fox baseball analyst Steve Lyons.
All right, let's see if we can do this better than Ditka did. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root, root, root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Woo!
Cubs fans, beware of tickets from scalpers or brokers. You may be buying lost, stolen, or counterfeit tickets that will deny you access to the park. Avoid a disappointing experience. Purchase your Cubs tickets in advance or on the day of the game at the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. Some fans think they know all there is to know about the Cubs. Then they read Vineline. Vineline, the Cubs monthly newspaper, makes a great gift for any occasion. Subscription rates start at just $19.95 and all new subscribers receive a free gift. To order, call 773-404-CUBS.
Where's my blue shirt?
At the cleaners.
Where's that piece of wire with the thing on it?
In your closet.
Where's the fuse box?
In the basement.
Where's Barney J. Weatherington, master of all space and time?
Having dinner.
Whoa! What's in the garbage?
You don't want to know. Life gets crazy. Get Glad.
Where's my bowling ball collection?
The Roman Empire strikes back.
You have one obsession, Zena. That's me.
Battle on, Zena. Saturday at 2 on WGN.
Delano to Shields, the villain in this ball game, takes over at second base, and Rich Croushore takes over for the Cardinals on the mound against Scott Service leading off the Cubs' seventh.
Croushore comes in at 0-3, ERA 4.70 on for the 32nd time. You might remember he's a man who threw the ninth inning home run to Sammy Sosa to tie it at 5 in St. Louis in the middle game of that series.
Well, Sammy would hit fourth in this inning if he gets a chance. The Service falls behind 0-2. We're joined in the booth by my other partner, Steve Psycho Lyons, from the Fox Sports Net and the Fox Sports Studio show on Saturday's Game of the Week. Very nice rendition.
We got through it. That's all it was.
It's an agonizing feeling waiting for that to happen, isn't it? 0-2. Swung on, line, base hit, left field, Service. Leadoff man on for the Cubs here in the seventh inning. Well, you know all about Chicago. You know all about Wrigley Field, and the Cubs had a very brief Cub career, however.
Very, very brief. Spring training and out. That was as much as they could stand.
Didn't take you long to make a lot of friends,
That's right. So you saw the crowd booing me there before I started singing.
Well, you're a White Sox. We would expect nothing less.
Here's one of the highlights of your career, Steve. We remember this one.
Oh, here we go.
That could be trouble.
Yeah, I remember this one real well. You make the play. That's a good effort. And then just lose track of where you are for a second.
You know, I needed a date.
You were out of the baseline, too. Also out of the bounds of good taste, but that's certainly not a surprise.
Yeah, it's never been a problem for me in the past.
Lance Johnson takes ball 2. What about this Cubs phenomenon? I know you give me a lot of grief about it on Saturday, but really, when you see 40,000 people every day here at Wrigley Field, that tells you something special is happening here on the north side.
On a weekday, I mean, it's tremendous the way they've played this year, and this could be the year for these guys.
The 2-0 is a strike, 2-1, but on to more fun things. You're about to become a dad again.
Oh,
huh?
yes, I am. About a week away. In fact, I got my beeper on right now in case something happens, and I'm going to be hopping on a flight here in about an hour or two anyway, and I'll be closer to home. But it would be ugly if it happened right now and I'd have to jump on an earlier flight.
Well, let's hope the baby looks a lot like your lovely wife, Krista.
Yeah, let's hope. He's right.
Boy or girl, or did you all find out?
We don't know yet.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's an exciting time, and you have 2 other beautiful daughters as well, so we know you've got the parenthood thing all handled. You're ready to go, and forget about sleep. It's not important anyway, right?
Yeah, sleep when you're dead.
Oh, boy, what an optimist. Now, you see, I've got you on my left and Steve Stone on my right. Man, somebody help me out here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a 1-run game to Lance. The pitch swung on, lined into center, but right at Ray Lankford. 1 away. Mickey Morandini is going to be the batter. We'll offer your analysis of this ball game, Mr. Lyons, if you will. What have you seen that sticks in your mind so far today?
I think everyone comes out to see the home runs that are being hit with Sammy, and both McGuire went deep to the track. Sammy went off the wall and then finally hit one out of the yard. A little bit of a sloppy game today, but right now the Cubs on top, and that's where they want to stay.
Morandini with a base hit and a run scored ahead of Sammy's 2-run shot, and he takes inside. You said last Saturday that you thought both McGuire and Sosa would be adding to their home run totals this week. Is there a reason why you felt that way?
I just felt that both guys had gone through a little bit of a lull period, and when you're a power hitter like that, you're going to go through streaks of ups and downs, and they had both slowed down, McGuire in particular.
Morandini hits that ball in the air to right. Jordan shields his eyes from the sun, and puts it away for out number 2. Before Sammy Sosa's at bat, we have found the man that caught his 48th home run, and this was his reaction.
Someone offered me $1,000.
$1,000? You're not going to take it?
I'm keeping it.
You're going to keep it? What if they come to playoffs? You think they'll sell it then?
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah?
I'm keeping it.
Well, Sammy, no stranger to Croucher. The last time he looked at him, he hit one out of the ballpark, and one here would give the Cubs a little desperately needed insurance.
And Psycho, Steve Stone and I have talked all year long about what kind of a different player Sammy Sosa has become this year. You played with him when he was with the White Sox. What have you noticed about Sammy?
He's a much more patient hitter. He'll take a walk a lot more readily than he ever did before. You used to be able to get him out all day long on bad sliders in the dirt, and he doesn't swing as many of those anymore.
1-0 is high, 2 balls, no strikes.
He also can work a count for the first time, Steve. You know how important that is. A guy can go up there if he's not swinging at the first pitch all the time. You find yourself with a lot of 2-0, 3-1 counts, and that's what any power hitter's looking for.
Gets a lot better counts to hit in, and he's still pretty much a free swinger, and he's a great bad ball hitter, so you can't throw him a pitch that he doesn't like to hit.
Laid off the fastball, 3-0.
Well, you know one thing, he'll be given the 3-0 green light, and he's moving up with every passing day. He's got Andre Dawson in his sights, and then only Hack Wilson will stand between Sammy and the all-time Cub record.
3 balls, no strikes. Croucher sets and delivers. Swing. Oh, what a cut he had. It's 3-1.
I got to believe 190 RBIs is fairly safe, but
yeah, you have to have so many guys hot in front of you. You have to have a tremendous year, and you have to have the 2 or 3 guys hitting in front of you. You have to have a great year and be on base all year long in order to drive in that many guys.
Mickey Morandini has done a great job with on-base percentage in the 4 teens most of the year, and that set the stage for a lot of Sammy runs batted in.
3 balls and a strike. Ball 4. Sosa is walked. That puts a big insurance run at second base, and the crowd boos as Grace steps in.
And if you're Tony La Russa, do you go to the pen to bring in the left-hander? You got Grayson Rodriguez. And I got to believe he'll go to the left-hander as Sammy and Mark McGwire talking it over.
Did you see what Mac did? He said, what's all this V and kissing and stuff? And then he smacked him with the glove. Those 2 guys really have enjoyed each other's chase, and they have become each other's biggest supporters here in 1998. Cardinals will go to their bullpen. It's going to be Lance Painter that'll come on and face Mark Grace.
Well, I think that
in a one-run game.
Mark McGwire probably saying to Sammy, I'm a real big guy. I know how I can hit him, but compared to me, you look like a jockey. How do you hit so many of them?
Yeah, that's because he's not seeing him without his shirt on too often. Sammy's put together pretty good.
I would say at about 5'11", 5'11 and a half, about 210. Sammy is an awfully strong man.
So Mark Grace is the hitter against Lance Painter. He becomes the 4th Cardinal pitcher. It's a 1-run game in favor of the Cubs, 6-5 in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Chip Carey, Steve Stone, and Steve Lyons, budding superstar with Fox Sports. And my partner on the Saturday pregame show, our guest conductor for the 7th inning stretch. Well, they're trying to work you to death out in Los Angeles, aren't they?
I don't have too many days off, but, you know, I was selling hot dogs 3 years ago, so this is a good change. You know, get the opportunity to work a little bit. You don't turn it down.
And your old buddy, the wonder dog, Rex Hudler, is sitting to our left, giving you the standing ovation for your conduction of the 7th inning.
And, you know, so much better when I warmed up, too.
Yeah, right.
As soon as they put the mic in your hand, you lose your voice.
Well, you sing much better in the shower. You always do. I mean, that's just
right.
kind of standard procedure.
That's a little more information than we wanted to know, Steve. Anyway, Mark Grace, Henry Rodriguez, and Jose Hernandez are due up here in the 7th inning as the Cubs try to win their 70th game of the year. Remember, the Cubs won just 68 times in all of 1997.
Painter's been pretty good at 4-0, ERA 3.55, on for the 52nd time. He has given up 5 home runs, however, in 38 innings. His control has not been good. 25 walks, just 31 strikeouts, and he inherits Base runners at first and second for Mark Grace, and it'll be interesting to see how they defense Grace. You've got a great arm in left field, a very good arm in right field, and this is one of the better throwing outfields all the way around. Now, they will run on Langford in center, but bear in mind you've got Scott Service out at second base, and he doesn't run particularly well.
And what a big insurance run that could be. It's a one-run game. Painter against Grace, and Mark, a .285 hitter this year against Southpaws, takes ball one outside. For the Cardinals, this is a guy that they have to hate seeing in the batter's box in this situation. 2 balls, no strikes. Grace, a perennial .300 hitter, has extended his hitting streak to 8 games with a base hit back in the 4th inning.
Jeff Brantley loosening up, because if Mark Grace keeps it alive and Riggs pinch hits for Henry, he's going to go to the right-hander Brantley against perhaps Glenn Allen Hill. But I would think you'd leave Henry in. He's been swinging the bat a lot better against the left-handers, and you might like that matchup of Painter and Henry a little bit better. But first things first, Mark Grace with a 2-1 count.
The pitch swung on, pulled into the camera well. It's 2-2. Don't forget as well, the Cubs also have Gary Gaetti. They signed him today for the rest of the season. And Steve, it'll be interesting to see how he fits in the Cubs' plans here in the final 35 games or so.
Be interesting to see whether or not he can get in at bat against his former team right away.
Well, you know he'd love to do that.
Well, he's got a bat in his hands, and he's ready depending on what Mark Grace does.
2-2. 2 on, 2 out. That just missed. And the count full now, 3-2.
Well, now the advantage for Scott Service is he will be running, so it really lessens the chance of having him thrown out on a base hit.
Service a big lead. Sammy at first, the payoff. There they go. The pitch swung on. He swung late and fouled it. Out of play, 3-2. Not a cloud in the sky. Temperature around 70 degrees at game time. Just 2 days of absolutely perfect weather to welcome the Cubs home from that long road trip. Cubs try to win their 6th game in 8 tries. The pitch as the runners go. Swung on, lined into center. Langford on his horse, drifting back, still going. He reaches up and puts it away, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. 2 left. Our thanks to Steve Psycho Lyons. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right, Chip and Steve, thanks for having me.
Very outstandingly average job.
On the weigh-ins, Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
We don't have a doorman.
What? The weigh-ins. Then on the Jamie Foxx show, it's Braxton's birthday. And Jamie got him the perfect gift.
Lolinda the blow-up doll?
Too bad it ends up at the wrong party. Jamie Foxx after the weigh-ins and before a special second weigh-ins.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
The 24-ounce bottle from Pepsi. It's perfect for a lot of little thirsts. Or one great big thirst.
Uh-oh, not again. Hey, Shaq, thanks a lot.
Sorry. The 24-ounce six-pack, only from Pepsi.
A little help, please? Somebody?
Here we are in this simple, majestic setting. None of the usual interruptions. Nobody around to distract us from introducing AT&T One Rate Plus. Now, the key point, the thing to remember, is that every call you make from home with One Rate Plus, every call, day and night, 10 cents a minute.
Did you say 10 cents a minute, dude?
How do they find me?
AT&T One Rate Plus. 10 cents a minute, anytime. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
The Army means hard work.
I don't know how real Army guys do it.
The Army Show.
Coming this fall on WGN.
We're giving away mountains of money to the luckiest people in Illinois, and that could be you. Find out how on the lottery's new game show, Illinois' Luckiest, premiering right here on Saturday, August 29th.
Well, this figures to be a very, very tough inning as Matt Karchner goes through the heart of the St. Louis order. But first, our look at the Ameritech playbook.
Little defense on the part of Jose Hernandez first. There was little defense, but he's helped out by Henry Rodriguez, who guns down Marrero at the plate. Tyler Houston comes in, puts on the tag. Marrero never touches the plate, and that is your Ameritech playbook.
So Jordan McGuire and Langford in a one-run Cub game in the 8th.
Well, you've got to pitch to Jordan here because he is a good base stealer and a great base runner. We got Terry Mulholland loosening up for Ray Langford, who's due up third.
A check swing. There's a big break. Karchner throws a fastball to first in time to retire Jordan. Boy, he is steaming. A check swing roller right back to the mound. He was 3 for 4 before that at bat. So Sammy Sosa, baseball's leading home run and RBI man, playing right field for the Cubs. Sosa with 48 homers, 121 runs batted in, both of them career highs. And downstairs to Big Mac, who's 0 for 2. He's walked his last 2 times up.
And Mac has seen Karchner a lot in the American League, so he is not unfamiliar to him.
The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Crowd booing. They want McGuire to swing the bat.
Well, McGuire 3 for 4 lifetime against Matt Karchner.
Big breaking ball. He took it for a strike, 2-1. Slider missed. 3 balls and a strike.
You've got Mulholland. Regardless of the resolution of this at bat, it's going to be Mulholland against Langford.
And Mabry too. The 3-1 to Mac. Swung on, belted deep toward left. No doubt about that, baby. We are tied. And McGuire is hit number 48.
He got him in a 3-1 hole. He came at him with a fastball. The second home run Karchner's given up. And so Mark Clark can't win it. Kent Bottenfield can't lose it. And we are tied at 48 for the home run lead. And the fans who've come here today have gotten their money's worth. McGuire now has driven in 107 with his 48th. And just like that, the game is tied at 6. And that young man has a souvenir, fought for, I'm sure, and Karchner will depart. And Mulholland will come into the game.
What a ball game. It's 8. 48 home runs now for Mark McGuire. The game now tied 6-6. Matt Karchner has given up 2 home runs in the ball game. And now the Cub bullpen turns to Terry Mulholland to try to end this 8th inning. Big Mac unloads. So has Sammy. And we're tied again at the friendly confines.
On the weigh-ins, Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
You don't have a doorman.
What? The weigh-ins. Then on the Jamie Foxx show, it's Braxton's birthday. And Jamie got him the perfect gift.
Lolinda the blow-up doll?
Too bad it ends up at the wrong party. Jamie Foxx after the weigh-ins and before a special second weigh-ins.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Dennis Sweeney is coming home.
Seems like my little brother's just got magic dripping from his fingertips.
But everything has changed.
There's not much left of this place.
Sometimes the hardest part of growing up
You're the son in Sweeney and Son, not me. Because I stayed and worked.
is coming home.
Now I'm back.
Mark Paul Gosselaar in Hyperion Bay.
Coming this fall on WGN.
The game is even. The home runs are even. As far as the top of the baseball pile, Sosa and McGuire have each hit number 48 today. And now Mulholland will try to tame Ray Langford, who has a 2-hit afternoon.
Well, another whale of a ball game here as the Cubs have been involved in so many good ones consecutively. And they now find themselves tied at 6 with Terry Mulholland in against the 2 left-handers.
Big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike, and there was no doubt about this McGuire wallop.
Well, it's a 3-1 fastball, exactly where Mac would like it. It's on the inner portion, and he just unloads, and there was no doubt about this one.
Off the end of Langford's bat, it's now 1-2.
Well,
What a
Holland
game.
at 3-3, ERA 2.38 on for the 53rd time.
Manny Alexander takes over at second base for the Cubs in the double switch. Manny will bat 7th on the Cubs scorecard now. That ball popped up and out of play. So the bullpen couldn't get it done today.
The Cubs took a 6-2 lead, but on single runs in the 6th and 2 in the 7th and 1 here in the 8th, the Cardinals have come roaring back.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the Cubs and Mets deadlocked to top the wild card heap. The Mets play at home tonight against Colorado. 2-2. It's high, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Don't want to put this guy on, for he's a threat to run. He's going to ground to second. If Manny can field cleanly, he can. He'll throw him out. 2 down. Boy, a guy just checks in. That ball seems to find him all the time. But Manny made the first chance hit his way in the 8th without any difficulty. And now John Mabry, the batter. He's been on base 4 times today. He singled twice, bounced into a force play, and reached on the Felix Heredia error that started the fun for the Cardinals in the 7th. St. Louis scored once in the 6th, twice in the 7th, once here in the 8th. And that's inside from Terry. 1-0. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Cubs will have Rodriguez, Hernandez, and Alexander. Hopefully it'll be a tie game. 2-0 to Mabry. And now that Cardinal fan a lot happier. Oh, he was nervous when McGuire batted with the Cardinals down 3 runs in the 6th. But now he's all smiles, as are the Redbird fans across the country, as Mark McGuire has tied Sosa and the game with a monstrous solo home run to left. The 2-1 is high, 3 balls and a strike.
There is Big Mac, who fell down by 1 for just a couple of innings before tying it up.
Fouled away by Mabry. It's 3-2. The count is full. Not anymore. Mabry draws the 2-out walk. First issued by Mulholland. And only the 3rd issued today by Cub pitching.
Now if you're in the outfield, you have to play just a little deeper than normal, because Tatis does have Alley's power. And Mabry with decent, if not great, speed at first base. You can live with a single. You've got to cut off the Alleys and make sure he doesn't score.
Tatis singled home a run his first time up, flirted with a home run his last time, and takes an inside strike. The Reds have beaten Milwaukee 8-2, the final score. White Sox and Oakland scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd inning. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Line just foul down the first base line.
Well, that was a break, because if that one gets into the corner, the Cubs are trailing by a run, but fortunately that was on the right side of the line. Guarding the bullpen, but couldn't come up with that vicious liner.
That's probably not a real comfortable feeling if you're the bullpen catcher and a shot comes at you that hard. 0-2. A ball and 2 strikes. Tatis ready to go. Swung on and again out of play.
Cardinals think that this young man is eventually going to hit for power. He's been a little inconsistent throwing the ball, but he's still a very young player. And Texas has brought some exciting offensive players through their system to the major leagues. So that's one of the reasons why they parted with Todd Stottlemyre and Royce Clayton.
Well, just think if they'd been very patient with Sammy Sosa. He was originally a Ranger. They could have had Juan Gonzalez, Pudge Rodriguez on that team. 1-2. Strike three called. Inside corner, inning over. Tatis jackknifed out of the way, but he's rung up by Frank Pulley. To the bottom of the eighth we go. All tied 6-6.
Doesn't your body love fruit?
Everybody loves fruit.
Hanging fruit. Chilled fruit. Cool fruit.
Everybody loves fruit.
Bodies in motion. Bodies at rest.
Everybody.
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 Everybody loves fruit.
Everybody.
Making friends is our business was a motto that my grandfather created back in the 1950s when he came up with the slogan. And beer is about friendship, about relationships. It's about making friends, going out, meeting new people, and there's not a better beverage to do it with than a Budweiser. There are 500 million beer drinkers in the world, 80 million beer drinkers in the United States, and they must know something.
Hi, I'm Linda Carter, and I'm here to tell you why ordering your contact lenses direct from Lens Express is such a great idea.
We're America's largest contact lens replacement service. Call now for a free catalog and save up to 50% by ordering direct from Lens Express.
And I get the exact lenses my doctor prescribed or my money back. Now that's
What I call service. I couldn't do without
Lens Express.
Call this number now for a free Lens Express catalog.
In every life, there is one great love and one unforgettable heartbreak. Felicity.
Coming this fall on WGN.
She will follow her heart to wherever it leads. Felicity.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Tie game heading to the home half of the eighth inning. Henry Rodriguez, Jose Hernandez, and Manny Alexander are due up against left-hander Lance Painter.
Probably Painter is on to just face Rodriguez, and that'll be it. They'll go to Brantley, and if the Cubs score, they've got the shooter throwing in the bullpen.
Swing and a miss. 0-1. There's the shooter, Rod Beck. If the Cubs take the lead here, he'll come on for the ninth. Outside, a ball and a strike. Well, with that home run that Henry hit, with the home run Sammy has hit, they've got the big league among duos in baseball. A-Rod and Ken Griffey Jr. nipping at their heels out of the Pacific Northwest for Seattle. And there is Jeff Brantley. Painter doesn't want to lose the lefty here. 2 balls and a strike. Breaking ball had him fooled. 2-2. Well, our old buddy Yertle the Turtle at the ball game today. The pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Struck him out. One away in the eighth inning. Well, we showed you the excited fan that caught Sammy Sosa's home run. Now a fan reacts after catching Mark McGwire's 48th.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Ties him up with Sammy, but Sammy's still going to do it.
Where are you from?
Sammy comes here.
And now Painter will leave the ball game. And Brantley will come into the game to face Hernandez and Alexander.
So Painter 2/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. And let's pause quickly for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
Back at the beautiful friendly confines of Wrigley Field, Chip Caray, Steve Stone, as Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire continue their battle royal. And Cubs fans, Monday, August 31st will be Ticketmaster Day at Wrigley Field. Ticketmaster will provide the opportunity to win tickets to upcoming events in the Chicagoland area. You can win with a lucky ticket number drawing or stop by Wrigley Field for a free entry form. That's Ticketmaster night at Wrigley Field, Monday, August 31st, as the Cubs battle the Reds at 7:05.
Jeff Brantley comes into this one 0-5. 5.22 ERA, on for the 41st time. His control has been pretty good. He's given up a whopping 11 home runs in 39 2/3 innings. Just coming back from arm surgery, he says that the velocity has been inconsistent. He says some days he feels great, other days feels like he just can't get the ball to the plate quite as well. And Gary Gaetti in a Cub uniform with an opportunity later in this one to perhaps make his first appearance.
So it's Brantley against Hernandez. Jose, a 2-run homer in his first at bat. He was 5 for his first 5 in the series. Struck out in the 4th, reached on an error by the shortstop Ordaz back in the 6th. Brantley kicks and fires with the bases clear and a foul tip off Marrero. 0-1.
Before Brantley had the arm problems, he was a terrific closer with Cincinnati. He led the league with 44 saves in 1996. Then last year the arm problems started. They let him go. St. Louis took a chance on him, and they think that next year it'll start paying some dividends for them. Out of Mississippi State, you might remember Bobby Thigpen coming out of there, Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, out of that great baseball program at Mississippi State. They got Brantley for Dimitri Young, November 10th of 1997.
0-2. Swung on, hit in the air toward right. Long run for Jordan, and that's going to twist out of play into the seats. 0-2. 2 games against the Giants to follow. Thursday, Kevin Tampany, Russ Ortiz. Friday, Kerry Wood, Oral Hershiser. Then Saturday, the big unit Randy Johnson will make his Astro debut against the Cubs here at the friendly confines. Of course, Randy, a former Montreal Expo. 0-2. The pitch. Did he go? He did not. 1-2 now. One and two. 6-6 game. We're in the 8th. Nearly hit him. Full count now. Make that a 2-2 count to Jose. The 2-2. A ground ball to the shortstop. Ordaz charges, off balance throw, a good one in time. And Brantley retires the first man he faces. So pull up a chair. Looks like we might be here for a little while.
Looking ahead to the 9th, it'll be Marrero, DeShields, and possibly Ordaz, or a pinch hitter in the Cardinal half of the 9th inning.
Here's Manny. He looks inside, ball 1. One and 0. It's high 2-0.
Jeff Blauser in the on-deck circle if Manny can keep it alive.
The 2-0. 2-1. A 6-6 game in the 8th. The Cub pen failed to hold the lead today. The pitch. 2-2. Mark Clark left with the lead, gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned in 5 innings and 2/3. After 5 innings, the Cubs led this thing 6-2. But the Cardinals charged back with a run in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and then Big Mac a solo home run in the 8th for St. Louis. 3 2-run homers by the Cubs today. Hernandez, Rodriguez, and of course Sammy Sosa. The 2-2. Ooh, swing and a miss. Boy, he swung late at all 3 of those strikes. And Brantley nails the door shut in the 8th inning. To the 9th we go. Marrero, DeShields, and Ordaz will bat for the Cardinals in a tie game.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
Unlike other airlines, Southwest doesn't limit seats for frequent flyer award tickets. So if we've got a seat, it's yours. Not for keeps.
You are now free to move about the country.
Unlike other airlines, Southwest frequent flyer tickets can be easily transferred to friends and family members. Or perhaps someone else.
You are now free to move about the country.
In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves, and they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
My grandson's a cute kid, but one tough businessman. Hey, buddy, how much to fix my car?
Upfront pricing? What do you think this is, mister? That GM Goodrich Service Plus?
What a kid. Got upfront pricing, plus a lifetime guarantee on parts and labor, plus courtesy transportation. GM Goodrich Service Plus, the little guy was right.
The plus means better.
Call for the select GM dealer near you. WGN TV on the web. The latest in news, weather, sports, and more. Visit Chicago's very own at WGNTV.com.
We go to the 9th inning. Marrero, DeShields, and Ordaz in a 6-6 ball game. Marrero 1 for 4 on the day. Looks inside.
Wind has started to shift. It is blowing straight in now. It was blowing out to left a little earlier.
Swing and a foul tip back to the screen. 1-2.
Blauser, Service, and Johnson barring a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 9th for the Cubs.
The 1-2 to Marrero. Swung on, popped up. On the infield, who wants this one? It'll be Mark Grace. 1 away.
One of the things you have to watch for now is the bunt with the lefty-lefty, and DeShields with pretty good speed. Jose Hernandez will move in a little closer at third, but they're playing him deep on the right side.
DeShields, a 2-run pinch hit homer for the Cardinals. Bat back in the 7th inning off Matt Karchner, who went an inning and a third, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs on 2 homers. So Matt ineffective today against St. Louis, but the game at least still tied. 2 balls and a strike to Delino DeShields. Fouled back, 2-2.
Terry, the 5th Cub pitcher, and against Mulholland, DeShields has had a tough time. Not too many lefties have a whole lot of success with Terry.
The 2-2 is fouled back and out of play. 6-6 for DeShields here. The pitch lined inside the bag down the left field line for extra bases. That ball skips away from Henry, and DeShields a 1-out double.
Well, you couldn't have threaded the needle any better than that, and normally you would be guarding the lines late. This time Jose Hernandez was a little off the line, and DeShields takes it right down the line. From the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera, this one off the end of the bat. And it goes right down the line inside the bag for a double for DeShields, representing the go-ahead run. And there is the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera high atop Wrigley Field. And Willie McGee coming on to pinch hit. Jim Riggleman going to the mound. He wants to talk to Terry Mulholland while the bullpen starts to work, and it's Rod Beck throwing in the pen. So McGee from the right side hitting just .236 this year as opposed to .270 as a left-hand hitter. All of his power, all 3 of his home runs have come from the left side. And as a pinch hitter this year, Willie 7 for 35. 3 for 11 with 2 batted in as a right-hand hitter.
So trouble brewing for the Redbirds here in the 9th. And Willie McGee, one of the most popular players ever to wear the Cardinal uniform, is the pinch hitter. And he takes a strike. And when you think about that statement, you think about some of the greats that have played in St. Louis. That says an awful lot. You think about Boyer, you think about Gibson, about Brock, about Maris, about Shannon, about Musial. And Willie McGee, if you had a popularity contest, would be right there amongst those great names with the fans in St. Louis. And he's still undecided, apparently, about what he's going to do next year, whether he will come back to St. Louis and play another year. No balls and a strike. 0-2.
And Terry is going to try to bury this ball right in on his hands. And that usually means that if you do make any contact, you'll pull it. But I would expect that Terry would stay even lower, because McGee has been known to expand that strike zone when he gets down a couple of strikes.
0-2. The Terry Mulholland pitch. Swing and a miss. Service can't find it. Now does. He'll throw McGee out at first. No advance by DeShields.
Brantley will be called back, and now we'll see who Tony La Russa wants. Wengert, Stevens, and Beck, and Wengert will not be throwing as he's going to get a start, and Acevedo just activated off the DL. Witt and Petkazik, all right-handed.
And now Placido Polanco will be announced. He'll pinch hit for the Cardinals. Runner at second, and 2-man out. DeShields representing the tie-breaking run of a 6-6 ball game. So Polanco bats for Brantley.
And Polanco did have a base hit last night. He was 1 for 2. With the wind blowing in, I would think the outfield would play a little more shallow for Polanco.
Broken bat bloop. Trouble if it's fair, but it's into the Cardinal bullpen. It's 0-1. So Polanco will pick out a new bat. And he'll step back in.
Well, Blauser meeting with Terry Mulholland. DeShields has all kinds of room. If he wants to take third, it's his. I'm not sure why he's not going, because the closest man to him is Bruce Dreckman, and nobody else is bothering much with him.
No balls and a strike. Polanco ready to go. So's Terry. The pitch is out of play again. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Bouncing ball left side. Oh, Jose Hernandez. Good play. DeShields tried to shield him from the baseball, but Jose gloved it and threw out Polanco at first. On we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Blauser, Service, Johnson due up in a tie game.
Coming this fall, the men and women of Fort Bendix.
You are dismissed. You're not the boss of me.
They live by a code of honor and chivalry.
My daddy has very strict rules against dating soldiers.
I don't want to date your daddy.
They serve for one reason alone.
I don't want to go back to the post office.
It's not just a job.
This is the Army, not some college dormitory.
It's the Army show.
Why was that man yelling at us?
Coming this fall on WGN.
Where's my blue shirt?
At the cleaners. Where's that piece of wire with the thing on it?
In your closet?
Where's the fuse box?
In the basement?
Where's Barney J. Weatherington, master of all space and time?
Having dinner.
Whoa! What's in the garbage?
You don't want to know. Life gets crazy. Get Glad.
Where's my bowling ball collection?
New Revlon Moisture Stay Lip Color. Moisture technology like never before. And the moisture stays in your lips,
Even after I take the color off.
New Moisture Stay. With vitamin C and moisture that stays hour after hour.
So my lips stay soft. Stay moisturized. Even after I take the color off.
All new shades, all new shine for your lips. New Revlon Moisture Stay Lip Color.
Do it for your lips.
Revlon.
Placido Polanco stays in the ballgame to play shortstop for St. Louis, and hard-throwing right-hander Juan Acevedo becomes the 6th St. Louis toiler.
Like so many of these Cardinals, he's also worked in the starting rotation as well as the bullpen. A 5-2 record, very fine 3.35 ERA on for the 31st time. 9 of them starts. He's given up 7 home runs in 75 innings, and he does have a great fastball. So it'll be Blauser, Service, and then to the top in Johnson.
Well, the Cubs have won 16 times in their last at bat. 10 of those 16 have come here at Wrigley Field.
Well, you don't want to go to extra innings because it'll be Jordan, McGuire, and Langford in the 10th if the Cubs cannot win it here.
So Blauser 0 for 3 on the game. He'll take a look at Juan Acevedo.
Tatis thinking perhaps that Jeff might be bunting, in close at third, and he's over toward the line.
Lifetime Jeff 4 for 8 against this guy with a couple of home runs. First pitch popped up. Marrero behind the dish, shielding his eyes, staggering, but puts it away. 1 away. So one away in the ninth. And here's Scott's service. Scott with a base hit back in the 7th inning. And he takes ball 1. Kent Bottenfield, Mark Clark started this game for their respective ball clubs. Clark led, leading this thing 6-3. It's now tied at 6. And McGuire might have a play on that ball. Nope, runs out of real estate. It's a ball and a strike. Our next telecast of Cubs baseball will be tomorrow as the Giants come a-calling. Join Steve for the award-winning leadoff man, then Russ Ortiz and Kevin Tampany will get together. Tampany going for his 15th win of the year.
I remember Ortiz, who got off to a good start and then fell prey to the long ball in 3Com Park in San Francisco.
Service hits that ball in the air toward right center field. Langford on the run, still going, reaches up as the ball tailing away from him. And Scott retired for out number 2.
For just an instant, looked like there might be some communication problems. But Langford, the captain on that play, the center fielder, finally said, "I'll take it," and take it he did. So Rod Beck starting to get loosened up in the bullpen with Jordan and McGuire to lead off the 10.
Johnson shows bunt, takes strike.
Brent Brown in the on-deck circle in case Lance can keep it alive.
One and one. Lance 0 for 3 today. A 5-game hitting streak on the line here. And Acevedo upset with himself for falling behind 2-1. But that's what he's done. A rocket to the right side. McGuire reaches up, flips quickly to Acevedo. Good play. 3 up, 3 down in the 9th inning. Well, the Cubs got to 6 runs after 5, and we've stopped scoring since. On we go to the 10th. Jordan, McGuire, and Langford in a 6-6 game due up.
The height of passion, the depth of evil.
You have no idea what it's like to have done the things I've done.
Buffy and Angel's haunting romance couldn't last forever.
Vampire in love with a slayer. It's rather poetic.
This summer, see how it all began on special Monday episodes.
You come near us and I'll kill you.
Buffy, the first episodes on the WB.
Tonight at 8 on WGN.
Coming this fall.
So do you smell something funny?
Check your feet. When you're in love, life's a permanent honeymoon.
Until the City League playoffs are over, you stay out of the strike zone.
And together,
Hey, Mel!
you can get through anything.
Wait till Mel finds out all those meals I cooked were takeout.
Well, almost anything.
It's when they find out what they thought was PMS is your real personality.
For your love.
Coming this fall on WGN.
Well, there's Dutchie Carey sitting with Nick Cladis, one of the owners of the St. Louis Cardinals. We hate to have to report this, but Dutchie's sitting in enemy territory today, but she's seen a great ball game.
She has that. It was all the Cubs early, but the Cardinals fought back. And now they have the heart of their order against Terry Mulholland.
Jordan, McGuire, and Langford in the 10th. Jordan is 3 for 5 today. Doubled and scored in the first, singled in the 3rd and 6th. And the Cubs got a break when he bounced into a check swing rollout in the 8th inning. That was against Matt Karchner. But then McGuire unloaded for number 48. And Jordan tried to hit number 20 just there, and he missed it. Cardinals 7-6 in bonus panels.
Both of these teams one game over 500. The Cubs 9-8 in extra innings.
0-1. 0-2. We showed you 8 and 8 on that graphic. Cubs 9 and 8 in bonus innings this year. And Jordan chased a terrible pitch and strikes out.
Now Scott Service will have a little talk with Terry Mulholland about how they want to work Mark McGwire. .3-1 fastball. It was on the inner portion, and McGwire hits his 48th to tie up the ball game.
Well, the Cardinals want to take a lead here. For the Cubs have the 2, 3, and 4 spots due up in their half of the 10th inning. Mack 1 for 3. The Mulholland pitch. He wants to keep it in on his hands and up. He's had very good success against him. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. 2-0. Swung on, belted into center field. Judson back at the track, at the wall. McGwire has number 49.
Terry fell behind 2-0, and just like the 3-1 Karshner pitch, Big Mac puts a charge into it. Even into a stiff breeze, he takes it out in center field. And just like that, Big Mac has reclaimed the lead from Sammy Sosa. His 48th and 49th have given the Cardinals a 1-run lead. But Sammy will have his opportunity to tie it up in the 10th.
Wow. Sosa hit 48, and that woke Big Mac up. He hit number 48 in the 8th inning to tie the game. He just hit number 49 to put the Cardinals in front. 7-6.
RBI number 108. Big Mac says you don't start talking about the records until you get to 50 before September. And he's got a long way to go before September, and the Cardinal fans very happy right now, but the Cubs still have their opportunity in the bottom of the 10th.
49th career multi-homer game for Mark McGwire, and a blast to straightaway center field. Gives St. Louis the lead 7-6, and here's Langford. We told you the top half of the 10th would be tough. Langford sends a drive to left field. That rockets into the seats. They've gone back to back.
Not much about that rocket as Langford joins the parade with his 23rd. His 3rd hit of the day, his 2nd run batted in. It gives him 82, and it gives the Cardinals a 2-run lead. So the Cardinals, one of the few teams in this league that can match the Cubs in power, have put a crimp into Terry Mulholland's afternoon as they go up by 2. And here's McGwire on a 2-0 pitch. This untied it. Out over the plate and up, and McGwire gets just about every bit of it. And Langford, against the left-hander, crushes this ball because it's down and out away from him, and he takes it all the way back.
So the big boppers for the Cardinals came to life in the 8th, 9th, and 10th innings here to give the Redbirds a 2-run lead now. And Terry Mulholland is talking it over with Jim Riggleman, and he's going to stay with the veteran left-hander here.
2 home runs for McGwire, 1 for Sosa. Cardinals have come roaring all the way back, but this bullpen has had some problems holding leads. The Cubs have to hope that they have some more problems here.
A 2-run Cardinal game for Mabry, and he takes strike 1. Mabry has been on base 5 times today. 2 walks. He reached on a fielder's choice on an error and a walk. 0-1. Down and in evens the count. Again, the Cubs will have a pinch hitter due in the 10th. then Sosa, then Grace. The 1-1. That ball hit hard again toward left. Henry on the run, has a play on this one though. And there are 2 men out.
And that's going to be it for Terry Mulholland.
So Beck will now come on and face Tatis.
Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA. You are now free to move about the country.
2-run score by the Cardinals in the top of the 10th. They lead it 8-6. And Brant Brown will be announced as the Cub pinch hitter for Don Wengert here in the 10th inning.
Brant Brown has done a great job as a pinch hitter. 5 for 12 with a couple runs batted in, hitting .297 overall. And the fans here chanting, "Let's go Cubs," trying to get something going here in the 10th.
Yeah, we need some help. We need all the help we can get. The Cubs with 1 hit since the 5th inning. So here's Brant Brown.
If you get on, then Sammy with 1 swing can tie it up. So a big at bat for Brant.
And the first pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, the strikeout total for Brown really has been piling up of late.
Well, Jim Riggleman's the first to say, and I concur with him, I'm not sure if that shoulder is still 100%. He fell awfully hard on it in Detroit, came back rather quickly, but he's still done a terrific job.
1-1 the count now. The pitcher firing from bright sunny center of the field. The batter's box covered in shadows. The 1-1. Breaking ball, fly ball, shallow center. It'll be caught by Langford. 1 away. So if Sammy hits the ball out of the ballpark here, you tip your cap to him. But it would only bring the Cubs to within a run. But this man has a tremendous flair for the dramatic. McGuire's hit a couple of them today. Maybe Sammy can hit his second right here.
Sammy this year has faced Acevedo. He's 1 for 1 against him, 1 for 4 overall. He has yet to hit the ball out of the park, and there are the 2 premier sluggers in the major leagues.
Down low to Sosa. The Cubs also have Mark Grace and Henry Rodriguez. One and oh, what a cut he had. 1-1.
Sammy's going to have to heat it up some because Acevedo has a tremendous fastball.
A ball and a strike. Sammy asks for time. Now he's ready to go. 1-2.
Nothing fancy about Acevedo right there. He's thrown 2 fastballs right by him.
McGuire looks on. Sosa digs back in. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Check swing back to the mound. Acevedo's got it. Little flip to first. 2 down.
Sammy didn't mean to swing, and a lot like Jordan earlier, he's retired easily, and it leaves it up to Mark Grace. If he can keep it alive, the Cubs will have another home run hitter due up behind him. And that is Henry, who's already hit 1 today.
Grace lifetime hitless against Acevedo, 0 for 3. And that's taken low, ball 1. Henry, in case you wondered, 2 for 2 lifetime against the Cardinal right-hander. Right through there, evens the count. Acevedo in line to win it. Mulholland would take the loss. And with the Mets playing later, the Cubs fall a half game behind in the wild card race. And it could be a full game if New York beats Colorado this evening. 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1. 2-2. So the Cubs now down to their final strike. Two balls, 2 strikes, bases empty, 2 men out. Acevedo shaking his head, can't get together on the sides with Marrero. The 2-2 is out of play. Well, all the highlight shows will be buzzing tonight as McGuire and Sosa continue their chase of Roger Maris. Big Max hit 2 home runs today. Sosa has hit 1, and the wind was blowing in for most of the afternoon. 2-2. Again, Grace hanging tough.
Supposed to get a little warmer here in Chicago, and that should mean that the wind will be blowing out for the remainder of the homestand, hopefully starting tomorrow. Semi could put some big numbers on the board. Big Mac can't possibly play in all 4 of those back-to-back doubleheaders with the Cardinals.
The 2-2 swung on line right field for a hit. The tying run comes to the plate.
Nothing like a little 10th inning drama from Henry Rodriguez.
Henry hit a 2-run rocket into the seats in left back in the 4th inning.
Dave Duncan's going to come out to meet with Acevedo.
Don't forget, the Cubs welcome the Giants to town tomorrow. Russ Ortiz, Kevin Tapani. Then Friday, Oral Hershiser, Kerry Wood. Both games of the Giants series here on WGN. Then it's the Astros Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then we're on the road to Cincinnati and Colorado. A home run ball did in Mulholland tonight.
Well, not yet. Henry has a chance to make it all right.
He could tie the game if he could hit number 32 on the year. Low, ball 1.
Well, Mark Grace would just as soon take second base. At least you take the force out of the equation. They're giving it to him. Might as well take it.
A huge lead. Grace not going. The pitch is outside. 2-0.
I'm not sure why he's not going, because it's not like you have to keep the hole open on the right side because they're not guarding against him anyway.
The 2-0. Strike on the outside corner. It's 2-1. Oakland beating the White Sox 5-0. That game now in the 6th. 2-1. Grace the lead. The pitch swung on line right field corner. That ball is fair into the corner. Grace rounds second, on his way to third. He's going to stop there. Second and third, 2 outs for Jose Hernandez.
Henry keeps it alive. This looked like a little slider that didn't do much, and Henry takes it right down the line, just barely fair. And now the tying runs are 1 single away with Jose Hernandez, who had a 4-for-4 game last night and a 2-run homer today.
A hit could tie the game, but terrific arms in the outfield, and now time is called.
They're going to walk him and take their chances with Manny Alexander.
Tony La Russa came all the way out to the on-deck circle to make sure Acevedo knew to walk Jose Hernandez. The Cubs have Gary Gaetti on the bench. The Cardinals will load the bases after a 2-out single by Grace, a double by Rodriguez, and Gary Gaetti standing by, but Manny Alexander, the man, due up. There is the fourth one out of the zone, and Manny is going to hit for himself, it appears. So bases loaded. Manny struck out his only time up today. That was back in the 8th. He has never faced Acevedo. I'm sorry.
The Cubs trying to work some 2-out magic. This rally started with 2 out, nobody on, with a Mark Grace single, and it's turned into bases loaded and 1 base hit away. Now remember, the arms in the outfield very good, and Henry does not have great speed.
Acevedo ready to go. The base is loaded. The pitch is low. Ball 1. Manny, you'll remember in Houston, bases loaded, delivered the single into right field that gave the Cubs a 2-1 lead. We're down a couple here, but a hit could tie the game. 1-0. Here it is. Way outside, nowhere near.
What a huge win this would be if the Cubs could come back.
Manny in the driver's seat here. 2 balls, no strikes. The set, the pitch. Low, 3-0. A walk means a run. Right through there. 3-1.
Well, now you know you're going to get a fastball, and if it's middle in, let's see if Manny gets a good swing at it.
That man's been riding the emotional roller coaster all day. The 3-1 pitch. Strike 2 call. So everybody will be off and running here.
Well, the advantage is now on a base hit, it's going to be close to impossible to throw out Henry Rodriguez. So Manny, pick out a good one and don't expand that strike zone.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded in the 10th. And now time call. They are on their feet at the friendly confines. The runners go 3-2. Lined softly into right. Jordan on the run. Still coming. Dives. It's in foul ground. Almost a perfect spot.
That would have scored 3 and won the ball game. Everybody running. Unfortunately, it sliced just foul.
So all the Cub runners return to their respective bags. 3 balls, 2 strikes again. Mano a mano here. A 2-run Cardinal game. The stretch. Here it is. Swung on, popped up on the infield. And how fitting is this? Mark McGwire's got it. And the Cardinals nail it down in 10 innings. Coming from behind to beat the Cubs 8-6 here at Wrigley Field. What a ball game. What a series. The Cubs and Cardinals split 2. The Cubs fall a half game out of the wild card lead.
Well, this one particularly painful because the Cubs had the 6-2 lead. They know this is a critical homestand. You win the first game, Looks like you're going to put them away today, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way, as the Cubs long ball showed up early. The Cardinals long ball showed up late. Those are the unhappy totals as the Cubs drop one in extra innings to run their record to 9-9. And the Cardinals come into enemy territory, pull out a big win for them, particularly damaging to the Cubs. And now we've got to just look to New York, where the Mets will play Colorado. The Cubs at this moment 2 back in the loss column in the wild card race. And the man of the moment, Mark McGwire, who hit home runs 48 and 49 today. Sammy managed 1. He is still 1 back. But, Chip, you'd have to say this was a great series, and this was a whale of a ball game today, except for the ending.
Absolutely. Mark McGwire was awesome. Sammy Sosa was awesome early. So were the Cubs' bats early. But in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th innings, the Cubs offense managed only 3 hits against the Cardinal bullpen. And the Cubs bullpen not quite so fortunate. They gave up 4 home runs in their last 4 innings of work today. Cubs fall in come from behind fashion to the St. Louis Cardinals in 10 innings. Final score 8-6. Back with totals and highlights right after this.
The 24-ounce bottle from Pepsi. It's perfect for a lot of little thirsts. Or one great big thirst.
Uh-oh, not again. Hey, Shaq, thanks a lot.
Sorry.
The 24-ounce six-pack, only from Pepsi.
A little help, please. Somebody?
On the weigh-ins, Sean gets a feel for the good life.
The doorman just tried to give me a cavity search.
You don't have a doorman.
What? The weigh-ins. Then on the Jamie Foxx show, it's Braxton's birthday. Surprise! And Jamie got him the perfect gift.
Lolinda the blow-up doll?
Too bad it ends up at the wrong party. Jamie Foxx after the weigh-ins and before a special second weigh-ins.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
John Lithgow performs the Discover Card Dial-Along song.
An extemporaneous piece.
Provided for your dialing pleasure while you call 1-800-IT-PAYS-2 and apply for your Discover Card, the card with the cashback bonus award that always pays you back.
That was a nice surprise.
And that's music to everyone's ears. It pays to Discover. To apply, call 1-800-IT-PAYS-2. Accepted where you see the Novus sign.
Here's our Budweiser play of the game. It was the final home run of the day for Mark McGwire, who hit 2 of them. He now has 49 on the year. This one put the Cardinals out in front after McGwire tied the game in the 8th. What a day for Big Mac. 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. Sammy Sosa also homered, but not enough as the Cardinals come back from a big deficit and win it by a score of 8-6 in 10 innings. Steve, here's a look at our final line score from the ball game for St. Louis. 8 runs, 18 hits, 1 error. The Cubs 6 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. Juan Acevedo picks up his 6th win in relief. Terry Mulholland takes the loss. The big story, though, the home run ball. Cardinals hit 4 of them in the last 4 innings. Sammy Sosa, Henry Rodriguez, Jose Hernandez all homered for the Cubs, and this is what happens in the wild card situation.
We'll take a look at the updated standings, and the Cubs just a half back, but 2 back in the loss column. Bear in mind, now you've got to become great Cardinal rooters because they play back-to-back doubleheaders against the Mets in New York, making sure that the Mets will play 7 games in just 4 days, and that's going to strain their pitching staff. But, Chip, this Cardinal team, you're used to having them run you out of the ballpark. Now it's one of the few teams in the National League that can actually slug with the Cubs, and they've actually out-homered them this year. They showed it here today. It was a great series, split at 1-1, and the Cubs for the season are 4-5 against the Cardinals.
The Cubs have won 5 of the last 8 ball games, but again fall out of the wild card lead. And what bothers you about this, too, while the Cubs are playing the division-leading Astros, the Mets would be playing the Diamondbacks at Shea Stadium in New York. That's not to say that things can work out exactly the way the Cubs would like them to, but if you look at those things on paper, you'd have to say the Mets have the big advantage playing at home against the expansion team.
The one thing about schedule is the 2 best schedules heading home with the teams involved in the race are Houston and San Francisco. The 2 toughest schedules, because of the more road games than home games, are the Cubs and the Mets. And the Mets still have Atlanta to play. Atlanta playing awfully good baseball, so that's going to be a tough job for them. They also have the West Coast trip left And it's always tough when you have to go to the West Coast, especially when you have San Diego, and the Cubs have 4 left with them. The Mets also see them, and the Dodgers.
There's your final once again. We're back at it again tomorrow as the Giants come a-calling. Barry Bonds and company will invade Wrigley Field beginning at 1 o'clock as the Cubs and Giants open up a brief 2-game series. It's Russ Ortiz and Kevin Tapani will lock horns. Ortiz, as you said, Stoney, pitched very well early in the ballgame out in San Francisco before the Cubs got to him. And Kevin Tapani's gotten a lot of run support, but has won 14 games on the year.
Let's take a look at Sammy Sosa as he's facing Kent Bottenfield, and he gets one upstairs and hits it awfully high, and it goes out of the ballpark after just missing one the last time at bat, hitting it high off the wall. This time he hits it all the way out of the park, and Big Mac against Karshner ties it at 6 with this blast before winning it off Terry Mulholland.
So the Cardinals come from behind, win at 8-6. They split the series. 1 game apiece. 8-6 is your final score. The Cardinals pound out 18 hits. For Steve Stone, Arnie Harrison, our entire crew, this is Chip Carey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, so long, everybody.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Ameritech, in a world of technology, people make the difference. Pepsi, Generation Next. ComEd, the official electric company of the Chicago Cubs. ComEd, what do you do with your power? And by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
The Army.
You and I go back a long ways, right?
Yeah.
You're my best friend. Well, I have something for you. It's number 62.
No, I can't.
Please take this.
This is number 62.
Number 62.
I'm going to cherish this for life.
Thanks.
No, thank you.